from the cradle of civilization, Union still seeks to unite the human diaspora. But now, an edict, long since forgotten, can be heard again, scream from beyond the stars. Will humanity hear? Will we understand? For now, only one thing is certain. Our Lancers will respond when the Starcriers fly.
Hello, and welcome to RPGs Uncovered for another episode of the Starcrier Conflict. We are back for episode 8 today. We're already 8 episodes in, 2 months in. Yeah, it's been a fun ride. 1 mission down, lots more to come. But for now, we're enjoying a nice little festival. More on that soon. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new here, this is RPGs Uncovered, and this is our long-term Lancer AP campaign stream. We're having a lot of fun with it. We are actually probably today just unlocking our first license levels, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So you're in the very beginning of what is going to be, as I'd like to call it, a sci-fi space mecha opera.
Yes.
All right, first and...
But I like that description.
Yeah, oh, I love it. Yep, I love it. Yeah, first and foremost, what I like to direct people to first is, if you are here watching this live on Twitter, hello, and thank you for joining us. Always feel free to pop in and chat. I see some people there, some dancing dinosaurs. Feel free to throw some heart tomatoes out, or some drop pod zeppelins. They don't really have anything to do with the game, but they're fun little emotes. But if you're here on Twitch, you can scroll down and head over to the About tab, and there is a nice yellow Mayhem meter banner. That is a collection fund that goes straight back to these wonderful people sharing the channel with me. And thank you for the follow. Yeah, Mayhem meter, best way to support the show, these wonderful people themselves. Every $50, you can see there's a little meter above my head. Every $50 unlocks something mayhem. It unlocks mayhem. Something cool is going to happen. It's going to ratchet things up to 11. It's going to be a good time. And even better than that, everything gets chopped up equally and sent out to pay the cast, because it's the best way I can think of to try to bring some money in to pay the cast for their time and dedication and all the wonderful creative gifts that they give me. So if you feel like supporting, head over to the Mayhem meter. If you do like what we're doing here on RPGs Uncovered as a whole, and you'd like to help me up the production quality with like artists and musicians and other writers and other cool people to work with out in the indie TTRPG community, you can head over to our Ko-Fi where we have some cool stuff. I'll talk more about that in the after show because I like to keep these relatively simple. But Mayhem Meter to help pay these awesome people, and Ko-Fi to help support the channel. If you are able to support one way or the other, but even if not, just watching live, just retweeting, just dropping comments. If you are watching the VOD, pressing all those little buttons like the follow and the thumbs up and all the other different metrics that I can never keep track of. And you can check us out on podcast. By this point, if you're watching now, only the second episode is now on podcast, but a new one should be coming out this Wednesday. But you can check out our podcast. We got a lot of good extra audio stuff thrown in, some sound design worked in. I think it's really fun. So if you are listening on podcast, eventually, hello from the distant past, leave us a review, because that's how podcasts work, apparently. Anyway, that is all my major announcements. We will talk more during the after show. Quick shout out to Veil the Void Reforged, a fun little sci-fi, little, it's not all that little, fun sci-fi fantasy series that is helping to support the show. We'll talk more about that game later, but they've been a friend of the channel for a long time. Let's throw it over to the other friends on this channel, my wonderful cast. Say hello, cast.
Hello, cast.
Hello.
Hi. I'm Sean, aka Rise. Tonight I'm playing August Walker, who is also known as Solitaire. He, him, all around for me and the other me. Yeah. Other than that, that's good for now. Lost my train of thought.
Hi, I'm Q. Generally, there would be a Haley between me and Rise, but not available. So I am Q. Tonight I'll be playing Desperado, Logan Uhura, who is having a wonderful time for this, celebration. A very good time.
I'm Andrew. I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Athen Mishan, who also uses he, him pronouns. I almost forgot my own last name there. It's fine. Call sign Blacksmith. So I'm having a great time. And I think we were kind of going out into space tonight. So that's going to be fun.
Some of you, yeah.
So
Yeah. I was gonna
hopefully
say,
I'll throw it over to Lion.
Hey, I'm Drake Lionheart. Most people call me Lion. I use they, he pronouns. And tonight I will not be playing August Solitaire Walker. No, instead, I will be playing John Tavik Creighton Vasier Harrison IV, who uses he, him, they, them pronouns.
Perfect.
And I'm excited to not go out into space because there's a fancy event to attend. Why would I do that?
Fancy gala.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Jack. I run this channel. I'm usually in this box doing the GM thing. Mostly he, him will work for me. I play everybody else and the world and all the fun, terrible things that are about to happen. Also, shout out to Haley. She's over down there in the box with her character in it right now. Well, she's not there. She would be there. And hello, Haley. You might be watching either live or from VOD. So hey, hope you're feeling well. Let's jump in then to our 8th episode of the Starcrier Conflict. Not much to recap, really. We are back from our first mission. There was a short hospital stay for Solitaire after having you could call it violent interface with potentially unstable individual who was rescued from a destroyed starship out in the void somewhere and since held by or taken care of by the Hawkwood Company. You can go back and watch the previous episodes for a better idea of the entire Hawkwood, the entire Dressel 1 story arc, because it did turn into an entire story arc. But they are back from that mission. Wounds have been taken care of, but not all the traumas have. There was a vision that was forced upon Solitaire by this Oracle figure who interfaced with a subjectivity suite, basically downloading whatever he wanted straight into Solitaire's brain. That sent him into a coma and he had to recover for a few days.
It happens.
Starblood, in the physical space, had an encounter, the same encounter with the Oracle, and in trying to prevent what was going on with Solitaire, wound up bearing an axe in the chest of this Oracle figure, who then proceeded to rip out his own tooth, smash it up against Starblood's visor, and tell him that it was an honor. That has clearly left Starblood, Tavik Vasier Harrison IV, a bit shaken. Some other developments of last episode. Everybody is back. Everybody is fine. or I should say, Desperado Logan Uhura was finally reunited with his long-distance relationship, Morgan Troy. And they're enjoying a fun little date night out before their time at the gala, which we will see today. Bite, Siobhan Carey, Haley's character, discovered that her stuff was rummaged through and one of her secret hard drives is missing. We'll have to get to that next week. And Blacksmith. Well, I think Blacksmith probably came away best out of everyone. No major mistakes, no major traumas, no gunshot wounds to speak of. Probably a sore jaw. But you did request some de-escalation training. And you found out from your contact, CPO Henry Dunn, that the station isn't exactly how you left it 15 years ago. There's been an influx of people from out in the diaspora who are migrating inwards. There's been reports of vandalism and petty crimes and a little bit of violence on the rise, and the station is becoming crowded and developing or receiving a whole bunch of new cultures from out in the black. But we're not worried about any of that today, because it is a rest day. It is a holiday, and a holiday that only comes around once every 257 years. This is the Angel's Dance. A celebration, a holiday which commemorates the coming together of two star-crossed comets that meet in a little dark nebula, not far, cosmologically, not far, from Farstation 12. And the interaction of these two comets with the nebula itself creates these fantastic sparkling light displays, which are visible from the station. They built a nice fancy gala yacht for all the rich people, or influential people, I should say. And they moved the scrapyard, an asteroid that has been sort of mined out in places, covered in other places, and terraformed in various different ways as a dueling grounds and testing grounds for mech combat. It has been moved to a better position to view this cosmic phenomenon. And the normal people who weren't invited to the gala, some of them are able to head over to the scrapyard and view from the scrapyard. Because, of course, our station, Farstation 12, rotates. It uses centrifugal force to keep everybody planted to the floor. Which means it's spinning, and spinning, spinning. So you don't really have time to stop and watch something that is going to happen over the course of hours. So they built the yacht, and they moved the scrapyard. But before we get to the actual show itself, because this is an event that takes 3 days because space is big, there is a street festival today, the first day of Angel's Dance. And we're going to pick up right where we left off, I think, with Logan and Morgan, hands clasped together, rotating around the center of this circle, spinning faster and faster and faster and faster, surrounded by a crowd of random people. Some of their friends in the Lancer groups have joined in, arms held together in this sort of Red Rover ring around this swirling dancer's gambit that they are playing. Q.
What's
Logan.
up?
How would you like this to go? Do you have a... How long do you want to try to hold on? Are you going to throw yourselves apart? Or are you going to spin until you absolutely can't?
And until we absolutely can't.
Okay.
I'm trying to win. What do you mean?
Win.
We're trying to be the best.
Interesting. All right. Well, if that is the case, then you know what? There might be a skill trigger, but let's just go ahead and do a roll just to see how long this lasts. It's not a pass or fail. There's no consequences, and even a low roll isn't bad.
Okay, cool beans. All right. So, because you said I could, I'm gonna go ahead and roll a physical die because your dice roller hates me. So
Yeah,
we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a 16 on the die. See,
Okay.
I have dice luck.
Yep,
It's just
yep.
not that stupid roller. So listen, would stay cool apply?
Why not? Sure.
Hell yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
Just concentrating as much as you can. You sort of grabbed
Mhm.
on at the forearm, at the wrist,
It's
concentrating.
me and him. We're right here.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I'm seeing.
Eyes locked together. I'm sure
Mhm.
a big beaming smile plastered on both of your faces, spinning round and
Mhm.
round and round, and we just see the blurred faces of the crowd over each other's cameras as they spin and spin and spin faster and faster and faster, and people begin cheering. People who are not part of the actual, circle begin clapping and cheering and whistling. But eventually you do get dizzy, and you do the centrifugal force of your own spinning just sends you flying back, flying out into the now a little bit concerned linked together arms of everybody
Mhm.
in the circle, because it's hard enough to catch a spinning teenager moving that fast, and you guys are not small people.
Correct. Correct. It's fine.
Well,
Don't worry about it. Say I'm light on my feet. We'll be okay.
I hope you are, because you crash into that circle and the arms do not hold. And you barrel over a good 3 people and get ejected out into the streets, much like you watched the young kid from earlier get ejected from this circle. You spin out into the crowd, probably twirling a bit, smack up against the side of a building. Fortunately, you don't manage to hit like a stall or anything, but you probably bump into a few people, cause a little commotion out in the streets. Morgan is being held in this little pile of people on the other side of the circle. Nobody's hurt.
Good. I think as Logan is recovering, he's just laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And is looking over at Morgan, just having shared that moment, that closeness, where it was just them and physics.
Mm-hmm. You just see this pile, this dog pile of people, and up from it just comes an arm with a thumbs up before eventually everybody stands up a little wobbly, and you two
Good.
can.
I will reconvene with him.
He comes over a little wobbly and just like grabs your cheeks, grabs the side of your face, and just smooches you.
Yeah. Hey guys, I hope you don't mind. I think we're gonna get out of here early.
Oh, are we now?
Yes, I want to make a trip on the way home.
Okay.
Okay. I will see you all at some point. We have leave, so we're gonna take that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Get everything that you need.
Great. All right.
Enjoy.
All right.
You do the same.
Morgan
So
throws an arm around your shoulder to support himself as you two wobbly make your way down the stairs.
Yeah. So we're gonna give us some time to to walk that off. And then I want to stop by a tattoo parlor.
Easily done.
I want us to get the travelers, the one tattoo of the like whatever the
comment.
thing is for
Yeah.
the comments. Yeah, one gets one comment, the other gets
Yeah,
yeah.
I that is popular today for
No.
yeah, for obvious reasons.
No.
So
Yeah.
there's probably like various like henna places set up where you get those like temporary tattoos, but there are also places set up for more permanent things. And actually, 12,000 years in the future, I mean, I'm sure tattoo removal is a thing of the past.
Right. Right.
So yeah, you can.
I imagine this is quick and easy if you really want it to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I kind of want it to be like one of the watercolor tattoos.
Mm. Yeah, you have a whole
so-
sleeve or a 3/4 sleeve already. What's there already?
Currently, there's an astronaut with a cowboy hat on a rocket. And there are a couple of planets above him, but there is room to add, and you can sort of add the comet to the higher portion of the sleeve, and it'll just be tucked in there. So yeah, and if you have the comet on me with a sort of color scheme, and then mirrored on Morgan,
You can
same
definitely get
comet.
that done.
Hell yeah.
All right. A very nice addition, and doesn't take long. And you guys can head back home, head back to Morgan's place, and enjoy the rest of your evening before the gala tomorrow. I'm sure there's going to be some dress up being played, picking out of outfits, or at least suggesting of outfits.
Of course. Absolutely.
But the evening is winding down. I mean, this festival is going to continue going on well into the evening.
Just out
The
of
rest of you
curiosity,
guys.
are there any street games or like festival games that we can play?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't have anything specifically created as far as games.
I just need to know, is there one, like, you know how like we had, like, if you go to like a fair and there's like the little like it's like the gun one where you like shoot like and like needle stuff out kind of thing?
Yeah.
There's got to be something like that, right?
Yeah, they definitely have stuff like that. There's like, yeah, there's like laser gun things that you can use that just use like super low powered lasers. There's like ring toss and all kinds of stuff there.
I'm gonna look over at Solitaire and Tavik and just be like, "Come on, guys, we got to show them up."
Solitaire is probably like on his second or third drink at this point, and he's just kind of, all right, let's go. Let's yeah. I'll beat you both. Come on.
Look, here's the thing. Just as long as I'm going to point at Starblood, as long as Starblood loses, that's all I care about.
As welcoming as it makes me feel, I suppose I can't take that lying down. Just one.
Sure.
That's the
Come on,
spirit.
fancy pants. Let's go.
Lisbeth pats you on the back and kind of pushes you over with the other two.
Come on, we used to play games like this at Moonglow like all the time when I was growing up. This shit's fun.
Wouldn't it have just been better to have some actual target practice?
Well, you see, that came later when we got the actual guns. It's kind of the whole reason why I became a merc in the first place, so I could shoot at actual people. But, you know, like, you got to work your way up to it, like when you're a kid, especially when you're, like, out in the frontier.
As a child, I was trained with all manner of weaponry.
Really? I didn't
Yes.
touch a gun until I came here.
Oh, dear Lord. You don't know about having fun, do you?
I'm familiar with the concept, of course. Who isn't?
Oh, I'm gonna look over at August. He doesn't know what fun is.
I know what fun is. I just think we have very different definition.
Well, then I'm gonna have a lot of fun kicking your ass at this.
Yeah,
gonna
I mean, I think
Go up to a solid,
feel
grab
like-
a gun.
I feel like your definition of fun is wrong. It's the definition of boring.
I suppose that depends on who you ask. Isn't fun subjective?
No, get your ass over here.
All right. Just once.
All right.
Mm.
Do you guys care enough about this to do a roll off?
Yes.
We have to do it.
All right. All right. Let's do a roll off.
100% we do.
Are you kidding me? I will say I would absolutely like to use show off here.
I would also like to show off.
All right.
Oh God, the two of you.
All right, fine. I'm not using show off. I'm using stay cool.
It's
Hell yeah.
Apparently, I ain't doing because
no.
I want to point out I got a nat 20 for a 22.
Yep.
Let's
Hell
go.
yeah.
Let's go.
Oh my
Ooh,
god.
the dice are telling a story.
Wow. 21.
It's not a story I knew I was
Finally.
telling tonight, but it's telling a story.
Amazing.
Solitaire's distracted, and he ended up shooting it over there.
I think this goes
You also
on
you
for
had a couple of drinks.
this goes on throughout a couple of different games. You guys are enjoying yourself for I mean a good few minutes at the very least. Doing like the laser target shooting and maybe doing like an asteroid toss sort of like basketball hoop game sort of thing. Some sort of like cosmic skee ball. I mean there's all kinds of fun games
feel like
here.
If I may, I feel like as the games progress, it gets further away from something that can be argued away as being just like this is a tactical thing that of course Havoc would do to just gradually becoming more just a game.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Well, it's also very evident, and this is a much more jovial metaphor for, I think, your entire cadet career between the two of you, always being 1 and 2, neck and neck,
Mhm.
always trying to show each other up. And this time, at least in Fun and Games, Blacksmith is coming out just a smidge ahead. And I think that more than anything else is pushing Starblood to, okay, one more game. I'll beat you this game.
2 out of 3, bro. 2 out of 3.
So for the next 15 minutes or so, you guys go around to different stalls playing different games. Probably, winning little different toys of some kind that you may keep or decline or give out as you would. But as you were doing so, you notice that there are flyers about for a show that is going on in regular intervals. Sort of dance theater sort of show.
I'll definitely take a flyer and just be like, well, I mean, is this going on right now or?
Yeah, it looks like they're putting on it's a short thing. It looks like they're putting on a performance every half hour or so.
Gonna just hold it up. Anybody else feel like going?
Think they got drinks there?
Oh, if they don't, we'll make sure that they do.
Sounds good to me.
When you say things like that, it makes me feel like I have to come to make sure it doesn't get out of hand.
Oh, now you're worried about us getting out of hand. All right.
Well, it reflects poorly on me if you do.
Hey,
People have seen me with you all day.
hey, you're a good guy.
Anyway,
So this street fair does eventually make its way down into the central park of the civilian ring. It stretches probably a good third of the civilian ring and is this sort of long rectangle that curves along the station. And once you get out of the streets and down into the park, there's of course kids playing and different people doing. This seems to be the more more kids friendly area. Not that the other areas weren't, but things like face painting and balloon animals and just groups of children of varying ages playing different games. Anything from just running around and playing tag to some sort of futuristic space version of volleyball or something. And there's a section of the park that has been set up on a stage, and people are gathered around. And this is the Angel's Dance.
I think that the whole time that we're walking through the park to get where we're going, Tavik is just a little bit like noticeably on edge. It's easy to write it off as having lost and being upset about that, but there's clearly a little bit of an edge to Tavik that maybe wasn't there earlier.
Mm.
He's keeping an eye on everyone around him, just in case any more impossible familiar faces show up.
Of course. So you take your place amongst the crowd. There's a sort of artificial hill that slopes off to one side, or some people are sitting down. There's some music going on in the background. And eventually, this elderly gentleman comes out onto the stage. This is of course future sci-fi stage. It's not this little rickety wooden stage or anything. I mean, it's made of metals and polyplastics and whatnot. Different lights are being shined down on it. There's a curtain along the back of this circular stage that can be pulled in various different ways. And this elderly man walks out. Looks like he's wearing a suit, not like a modern day like tux or evening suit or anything, but your normal like spacer's suit. Not an astronaut suit or anything, but general cosmopolitan. You can see it has all kinds of patches on it, different pins and actual patches sewn in, cobbled together, probably from various other garments and whatnot. Definitely looks like an individual who has grown up out amongst the stars on a ship, maybe even a generational ship, moving from port to port, interacting with a number of different cultures, getting a number of different materials, seeing a number of different places and taking souvenirs and different things and incorporating them into himself and the way he stylizes himself and his clothing and whatnot. And he gets out on stage and you can hear pumped around the park through different speakers. Welcome all to the third of our Angel's Dance. An event that only takes place every 257 years. A find of a lifetime, someone would say. All those many centuries back. And we now have the benefit of this festival, this station, and the joyous view that it provides of this beautiful cosmic phenomenon. And now, a brief story. One of many that has grown up around these two comets. The story of Calahephaes and Uzala. The stellar phenomenon, now referred to as the Angel's Dance, has garnered the attention of many cultures both far and wide. The screen is pulled sort of halfway, semicircle around the stage, everyone sort of off to one side, And on the side of the curtain that is facing everybody, it's been painted and decorated to look like the night sky, but an exaggerated view of the night sky, like you would get in modern day video games, with planets and moons that are impossibly close to each other, and nebulae, sort of overlaid or in the background of different planetary systems and whatnot. Through evolving stories, these two star-crossed comets have become the embodiment of multiple cultural stories and mythologies. One such story, which has been anchored to this phenomenon, is the cosmopolitan story of Calahaphis and Uzala. Calahaphis and Uzala were both purportedly ancient cosmopolitan captains, roaming the stars and the trade lanes long before blink technology was discovered. And moving out from on either side of the stage behind these curtains are two individuals, dancers they look like, a man and a woman. Relatively tall, though they might be probably wearing some sort of platform shoes or something. Probably not platform. They're dancers. They're on their tiptoes, or they can be. The woman off one side is wearing this sort of full body, but it's sort of like if you took like a full body unitard of black and then incorporated dress elements into it. These sort of flowing cloths and silks and whatnot that stream down from the arms and the shoulders and the wrists and the back and the legs. It looks like this just swirling mass of black fabric around the live feminine form. There's the dress even goes up over the face, sort of like those full body like green screen suits people wear for like mocap and whatnot. And then off to the other side there is a rather live but more muscular, sort of broader shoulders, masculine figure that has a very similar attire on, but this one is golden in appearance, and on the different material that flows off of his costume are sewn in what looks to be, probably not, but what looks to be various gemstones and coins and whatnot, silvers and golds and rubies and emeralds and sapphires. While their routes across the void were long, they always made time, centuries apart, to see each other. And out from the stage, from the bottom of the stage, these two poles come up on opposite ends, and they walk up and they take part of it. It looked like just part of their flowing outfit, but when they grab it and extend it, it has a little clip, and they clip it on to these poles. And you can see it's actually a much more sturdy rope. They clip themselves onto these poles, and then those poles start revolving around the stage. And they start spinning around those poles, which are spinning around the stage. Slowly at first, and then getting faster and faster, but you can see that they never quite meet up. As they are getting to the center of the stage, they will reach out in this very exaggerated dancer sort of grab to the other one, but they can't grasp each other's hands. And all this time, music is playing. They have this orchestral swell of music that comes on. There's lights that are being shined down to create the facade of the twinkling of stars and the different blues and greens and yellows and purples of nebulae that spin past. And this dance goes on for a little bit, spinning them around the pillars and the pillars around the stage, never quite touching for a few minutes. This tale has been passed down throughout countless generations of various cosmopolitan cultures as a tale of star-crossed lovers, used by idealistic teens and love-struck crewmen as a metaphor for relationships determined to survive the long journeys through space and time. And then, as the orchestra swells, the revolutions of these two dancers finally meet up, and they grab each other by the hand And as they do, their cords are pulled taut and they snap off from each other and do this twirling spin back out behind the curtain. And the crowd stands up and claps and cheers, whistles. The dancers come out, take a bow. You can see they're a little dizzy. They come out a little wobbly, but they do come out and grab each other's hands again and, you know, sort of take a bow.
I'm gonna lean over towards August. You know, I bet Logan could probably do that pretty well.
I mean, he was pretty good at the spinning
Yeah.
earlier. Him and
Yeah,
Morgan.
maybe we could get him and Morgan to sign up for a show or something like that. I bet they'd be great at it.
I mean, it at least made sense. Yeah.
I mean, maybe we'll get him to wear spandex or something. That'd be fun.
That would be funny.
That was pretty good, though. Pretty good. Yeah.
Does it seem like the festival's kind of winding down for this first day?
Yeah, it's starting to. It's getting into the evening. You guys may have started the party section of the evening a little earlier than other people. You guys pre-gamed a little too much, and now you're having to call the party, you know, a little earlier than most people would. But you can make your way back through the festival, maybe grab a few more taco diaspora tacos, and make your way along one of the long not glass, of course, but like transparent titanium or whatever it is that looks out amongst the stars. And you can see that towards the end of the day now, those two comets that have been slowly streaking across the night sky, the void of space, as it were, into this nebula out in the distance, you can see what used to be just this faint blue glow off towards the very edge of whatever this diffuse cloud of space gas and dust is. And they've migrated much closer to each other at this point, and you can see they've developed these long comet tails of blue and white and purple that kind of shimmers and sparkles and spreads out behind them. Not quite the spectacular meeting of the two just yet, but it is much more colorful and much more vibrant and closer and amazing than it was earlier this morning when they were just barely starting to interact with the nebula. But with that, I think it's time that somebody helps Solitaire find his quarters.
Yeah,
Which
I
he
got him.
needs. There's probably a good chance that he has snuck in more drink than you probably realize at this point.
Yeah, I'll definitely be giving a hand.
There's probably a moment Athen, gets him inside and slings him into the bed or whatever, and just kind of laying there, and he's obviously almost out at this point. He's just like, I don't know that I want to go to sleep.
Gonna look at him and, what do you mean, August?
When you go to sleep, that's when I see it again.
And I'm assuming there's probably like a chair or something like that I can pull up.
Yeah, there's a desk
Yeah.
chair.
Yeah,
About as close as he's got.
yeah, I'll just pull that over and just kind of hang out with him for a little bit. Well, see what?
All of it. See the ships coming apart and the stars and people dying and everything that he put in my head. I see it when I sleep, but I still don't understand it. I don't know what
I'm
it
assuming
means.
this is the Oracle, right? One that put you into a coma?
Yeah, weird old guy.
Oh. Just from the debrief, it sounds like Tavik got him. So you ain't got to worry about him. He's gone.
I don't care about that. He wasn't no threat. He was just a crazy old man. But all this, it means something, and I don't know what. And it's not like I got schematics to look at or numbers that I can put together to figure it out, and feel like it's important. I feel like that old man died so that he could tell someone this.
Have you talked with the docs about it yet?
Yeah, they don't know nothing.
You want me to stay with you?
He just kind of drifts off at that point and is out.
I'm gonna stay with him, even if that means that I just have to like prop myself up like against the wall or something like that. But I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna leave him tonight.
All right.
He tosses and turns a lot.
With that, we can pick up the next morning. If there's anything more you two would like to discuss the next morning, or we could make our way into the second day of the festival with the actual cosmic event.
He drags himself into the shower and stays there for a long time.
Yeah, I think that like once he does that, I'm sure he's at least good. I'm gonna go back to my own place and also gonna clean myself up.
Mm-hmm. Does Solitaire remember having that conversation with Blacksmith at the end
Nope.
of the night? Nope.
Not at all.
Yep. So you guys can shower, get some food in you. I'm sure they have some sort of at this point like anti hangover pill or something that you can pop real quick. Just hypo spray. Normal sci-fi TV show. We wanted you to get drunk, but you still got to do stuff today. Hypo spray.
Ibuprofen 5,000.
Yep.
That's the copyright name. There is like a shelf, like an off-the-shelf brand
generic.
that you can kind of find a generic
version,
one,
yeah.
where it's just like,
no, what are you talking about? It's a GMS Profit.
Yeah, right. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Do any of you guys have specific preparation or conversation scenes you would like to do leading up into either the gala or the scrapyard?
Is my prosthetic friend still around?
Yeah, the doctor you would visit. I'm gonna have to bring
Garrett?
that up. Unless you remember her name, if we gave her one.
We did.
All right, I do believe so. Let's is that in our series Bible? I'm not sure she made it into the series Bible.
No, she should be in the hold on, give me 1 second. I wrote it in. Sophia Harper.
Sophia Harper.
Yeah.
Yes, Sophia Harper runs a little cybernetics clinic, a prosthetics clinic down in Civilian Rings.
Mm-hmm. So it has been 15 years.
True.
So I'm gonna go check that out because I want to do something fun for the gala.
What do you have in mind?
So for this event, I want a gold leg.
All right.
Even if it's just like outer plating of gold,
Hmm.
it's gonna go with the ensemble.
Okay. Okay. Fortunately, in the future, in the Lancer future, this is not necessarily a post-scarcity society. It's not Star Trek where you can transfer energy into matter and vice versa. So you still need the raw materials, but they have excellent 3D printing and recycling. And I think if you would like to rent enough gold,
Sure.
to create a new prosthetic, probably again, as you said, gold plating, because gold isn't the strongest material you would want to use for a load-bearing structure.
Right. So yeah, not completely made out of, because that's crazy.
Yeah,
But
it's a lot of
definitely
gold.
like
Yeah.
it's absolutely. But it's still gotta have it at least look like it on the outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that actually she could probably fabricate something that just sort of like clamps on to what you already have. This
Mhm.
gold plating and sort of clamps onto what you already have. I imagine these things are fairly modular. You can take off and put different attachments on as you need. More usable for like cyber arms and stuff than necessarily legs, but made with the same principles. So you can snap on
Yeah.
a few pieces of gold plating and whatnot. Of course, after and you knew to expect this. She is older than you left her 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Not terribly so, again, because the lifespan of humanity has elongated a bit. But there's that usual, oh right, you are Mr. Ahura, of course, of course. It's been too long. You catch up and you go over the what you care to talk about the mission.
Right. Mr. Uhura, gross.
Mm.
Ah, I thought we were cool. I know it's been 15 years,
I,
but I have
I
work to do.
apologize, Logan. I apologize,
Yeah,
Logan.
it's all right. It's been, again, 15 years. Do apologize for leaving. Well, no. Sorry it took so long to get back over here.
well, working out of a station, I have plenty of clients in the Navy themselves who go out on their own missions or patrols or whatnot. So I've become used to trying to remember people for through the long stretches of time. It's just easier to
Sure.
remember more formal titles. You never know
Okay.
how people are going to what their preferences will be after long voyages. Of course, I know
Yeah.
it's probably a much shorter voyage for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well. Anyway, so I'm going to a fancy party, and like, while I know that I'm going to be the only one to see it, maybe my partner, I want to have the whole fit matching. So I was thinking gold.
I can swing that. I have the material credit for that.
Good. Good.
I assume you still have your Navy stipend for this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I do believe I have all your measurements on and schematics on file, and she goes over and brings up 15-year-old documents and pulls
Okay.
up schematics, and you guys can start working on what you want.
Right. Are there any new processes, new upgrades that I should be looking into? Since I'm here.
There's some joint upgrades that we can work into this, or build you a new model.
Good.
Some new alloys that have better tensile strength. Um,
Good.
there's
Yeah,
a new
because
runner's blade.
there's a new what now?
A new runner's blade.
Yeah.
Not what
Give
you're
me.
looking for here, but
Sure.
of course, it
You know what?
probably
I will
works
come back
best
to that.
if you have both of them. Not actually sure how that.
Probably.
She would know how that works. This is her job.
Right.
I, Jack, don't know how that works. If you only
Mhm.
have one prosthetic
One
leg
leg.
and you have a runner's blade, which has that extra, I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's probably for two. Yeah, I still have one of my legs working, so probably won't. But I know who to come to if the other one. So there's that.
Do you also have a prosthetic arm? I forget.
It's
No.
just the leg.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you can take some time and work out a fun gold plating detail you can snap on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then that's it for me. That's all I want. And I'll be
Alright.
ready for the gala.
We'll get to the rest of the outfit reveal upon entrance.
Fantastic.
Tavik, do you have any particular
Yes, I do.
preparations?
I think we would see probably Tavik getting dressed in his quarters along with Lisbeth. Sort of physically and mentally preparing for the night ahead. And I think he's still wearing a lot of white, because that's just his aesthetic. But it's a little more traditional, like nice attire than the more military-esque outfit he traditionally wears. And he's just sort of standing there, and I think we find him again, sort of just like at the window looking out. Except his focus is more on the stars than it is on anything else. We sort of see Lisbeth sort of straightening the bow tie that he definitely is wearing. Under protest. It was not his first choice, but she knows more about fashion than he does. When he would go to events with Anraz Shamra or the surrounding colonies, it was not like this. It was still a lot more military-esque gear than the suits or the ties or the tuxes or any of that. And there's a moment where he sort of like reaches out to his own forearm where he is not wearing his data pad. And he's clearly distressed by it. And he's just sort of staring out at the stars.
So Lisbeth Azamalaki, she's been giving you space largely because you're not opening up. Whether Tavik realizes that or not, I'm not sure how keen Tavik is on relationship subtle cues.
Not very good.
Yeah. But it's been a trying couple days since you've returned with the debrief and the after action report from a few days ago, trying to get you to open up about whatever's been bothering you since, because you haven't talked to her about it. Trying to push you with varying degrees of success to have fun during the festival. So she's tending to getting herself ready and to helping get you ready, but there's not really a lot of prying conversation. You can see she's wearing actually something very akin, very SSC. In the book, I like page 398. There's a nice little. It looks like it's sort of this sort of military cut long dress, but it also has this sort of shoulder length shawl, and made in various silks and brocades and whatnot. Very SSC, sort of tight fitting wraps and a shawl. Has her hair done up in a sort of bun with a short tail that comes out, a little sort of headdress, sort of hairdress thing of chains and other different dangly bits. How are you feeling about tonight?
Well, rubbing shoulders isn't exactly my specialty, if you ask the stewards. But I assume it will go as well as it ever does. You?
I am looking forward to it as much as one looks forward to a fun business trip, let's say.
What a succinctly political answer.
Yes, I'm sure you understand this. This gala is not a party. It is a social event, a gathering of influential people, elites.
I well understand that, yes.
Navy officials, administrators. Believe there'll even be a Karakan Baron in attendance with the usual retinue and pomp and circumstance. Of course, representatives from the different corporations. Plenty of people to talk to. With a lot to
And
say.
to avoid.
And to avoid, I suppose. Well, avoidance is much more difficult than I suppose strategic navigation. It's best not to spurn anyone too overtly. Polite hellos, minor discussion, and then find a reason to move on.
You're doing it again, you know.
Doing what?
You are acting as though I've never been to something. And you are educating me.
I know that you and I have more similarities in how we were raised and the societies we grew up in and the people that we've interacted with than you and the others of our squads. But I think, and I could be wrong, I was trained with a much greater focus in this, in the social encounters, in the politics of it all. I know you're familiar with it, but Harrison does things differently than Smith Shimano. I'm not trying to talk down or assume you don't know. I'm just know that you've been in a state these past couple days, and I wanted to make sure that you
That I want.
that you are prepared. As you said, a lot of people and a lot of people to talk to, and a lot of people to talk to in very specific ways.
My entire life has been talking to people in very specific ways. I'm sure I will do just fine.
I'm sure you will.
You mentioned the other day that there were people you wanted to introduce me to. Are they going to be here? Is that your concern?
No, no. Though, you can think of this as a sort of trial run, I suppose. I was hoping to introduce you to Zuzuko Greer, the local main administrator of our SSC campus here on Far Station 12, though she was not who I originally had in mind.
Why did that change?
What change?
Well, you said it wasn't who you originally had in mind.
Oh, no, she will be at the party. It's just not who I was referring to when I said that.
Ah,
In the coming days, after we are through with this and whatever we may still need to deal with from the fallout of our next mission, I was hoping to return to the Constellar, which I'm sure you are aware of. Virtual interfacing of the SSC citizenry.
yes.
There is a Constellar, well, the Constellar assembly here on the station. There are jack points for us to plug in, as it were. I know you're not outfitted with such, but there's minorly invasive ways that we can plug you in. It wouldn't be as full immersion as what I'm used to, but you'll be able to join us. I was hoping to take you home, as it were.
Mm. And you think that we're serious enough for that?
Do you think we're not?
Oh, no. I think it's maybe even overdue. Especially considering I can't take you home.
Quite. Well, I know they wanted to make sure that you were actually committed to this whole Union Navy thing, as they put it. And now that you have graduated, you have gone on your first mission, it has went well. You have your rank, as it were, though they don't do that in this particular outfit.
Important to ensure everyone feels important.
Certain hurdles of dedication to go through.
Yes. Isn't that always the case?
For anything that matters,
Oh, yes.
but you do matter, that is, to me. And I hope to then, in time,
I don't think we need to mince any words here, Elizabeth. If I come to matter to them, it will be far more because my last name is Harrison than it will be because of anything I've accomplished.
I'm not sure I would completely agree, though I certainly won't discount it. Each of the Harrisons have been their own individuals. I can't imagine you would be any less.
Individuals, insofar as they would allow their leash to permit them. But again, let's not pretend there hasn't been plenty of discourse about my choices.
Oh, certainly. Having a Harrison among us, the Harrison, would certainly be a boon for the family, but SSC as a whole. that may be what they are working towards. I'm sure it is in some manner. I'm just happy to have them meet you.
Very early on in my life, I learned that anyone who holds a position in any major company or corporation is always looking for whatever is going to get them the most returns financially, through territory, military conflict, and what have you. I recognize what they will see when they see me, and I appreciate what you see when you see me. But I will, perhaps this once, educate you. Do not convince yourself that they will ever see in me what you do. They won't. And I'm all right with that. I understand and recognize how this works.
Well, we'll see. As I said, you had a very different upbringing than I, and the Constellar does have a way to make everyone see eye to eye a bit better.
And I'm certain that is exactly what you want to lead with before you plug something into my brain. I look forward to it. More, at least, than this business trip. And then he straightens the bow tie.
Well, to a nice, long, enjoyable series of business trips, then.
Just be careful how you disengage with people.
And you two can collect yourselves and head on out. Probably not as much preparation for the other two, who are just going to go out in their mechs in the scrapyard. But anything from Blacksmith, Solitaire?
I'm I will say I'm definitely gonna grab like a 6-pack of like beer or something like that, and I'm gonna make sure I have 2 of them, and I'm gonna toss one of them over to August before we go.
I would like to step in actually, just real quick. I think you'll have like a 12-pack waiting outside your door from Desperado.
Mm.
And probably also like a bag full of the double cheeseburgers and fries.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, sorry, I'm gonna be missing out on that. Well, I'm gonna miss some time with the boys, but fun. And waves to me. I wave back, and then it just says, "Logan."
Wait back, yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna like pull out my pad, just type up, just quick, like got your package. Good luck with the suits.
Thanks. Enjoy, boys.
So
All right.
I'll make sure that August gets snacks. I know we don't have Haley with us, but I've seen that Bite's coming out with us as well, so I'm gonna make sure that Bite gets some too.
So, actually, you do wait up to meet up with Bite. He doesn't show up.
Oh. Mm.
Where the goes Shiv? I thought she was going with us.
That's what I thought too. But I can't wait around that much longer, right?
Stop. Miss the whole damn thing.
Yeah, you wait
Right.
5 minutes extra, 10 minutes extra, 15.
All right. Well, it looks like Shiv's a no-show.
Yeah. Must have found something else to do, I guess. All right, then. Well, best get on out there.
All right. So, other matter to address here. Beer, heavy machinery, and zero gravity. I don't think any of those three things really go well together. So if you're planning to pregame with that beer, somebody like Hazy might have something to say about you getting in a mech afterwards.
No, the idea that I had was just that it would be one of those things like literally like once we get parked, I was assuming that then it'd be like kind of like, you know, kind of set the mech like into standby, kick the feet up, assuming that we have room in the cockpit, and then just kind of hang out.
Mm.
Because we're gonna be there
Yeah.
for probably at least a few hours, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You certainly aren't required to wear suits, space suits, in your mech. It is pressurized. It's always good practice to, in case something goes wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
well, I'm just gonna keep my helmet off to the side, like while we're going over.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was thinking too.
Okay. You might want to also bring along a little like screw-on straw thing or something because they don't have artificial gravity in these things.
No.
Not like juice boxes?
Pretty much. Yep. Yeah, you got
We're
your
getting
little
fancy
wine
with it.
spritzer box.
Perfect.
All right. Excellent. Yeah, you can head down to the hangar. There's a whole bunch of other pilots all getting ready, getting into their mechs. You can see... Actually, you don't see because you're in the military hangar, but down over in the civilian hangar on the other side of the station, the other ring of the station, you would know that there are civilians being loaded up into transports because the scrapyard was moved from where it was to a better location. Not for you guys in your mechs. You guys aren't required to stay anchored to an asteroid. You can just fly out there. You're used to flying information, and you know, in zero G and space is big. You don't need to worry about bumping into anything. But they moved the asteroid out there so that they could cram it full of civilians, other people who weren't fancy enough to get into the Gala, to look out at this phenomenon without having to worry about the revolution of the station. Yeah. Shiv isn't there. Don't know what's going on with her. Them. You do see Hotshot. Hotjaw. Hotjaw's there. A few hanging out with a few other pilots. Of course, you know that Desperado, Starblood, and Hajiri are not going to be there. Lich isn't there. So not a lot of people that you are super familiar with. So it's probably just going to be, boys' night out on the asteroid. You can load up in your respective mechs and make your way out. Not as sensational or high octane as shooting yourself out of the launch tube for combat, but always fun to get out in your mechs, I'm sure. You can fly out over to the asteroid, and you do see the scrapyard is quite. I mean, it's a whole big asteroid, probably a couple miles in diameter. It's been moved off, and turned a bit so that the largest structure on it that actually has a glass dome, again, not glass, transparent, whatever structural material out facing towards the nebula. There's a whole bunch of people in there looking out. Normally, where you would be conducting different, while you were cadets, different training maneuvers or different duels or whatnot. But for now, there's quite a few different mechs just sort of floating out amongst the void here, between, in general, the asteroid and the station. You do get a quick little message from Henry Dunn, just saying to enjoy the show. He'll be out on a little maintenance skiff out along the asteroid itself. And you two can just hang there in space. Just crack your helmets, crack open a beer, drink it through a straw because zero gravity, and just open up comms and have a good time chatting with folks. You do see throughout the night these two comets have come very close to each other. This sort of bluish, greenish, whitish halo of both of them along the front, the leading edges of these comets, are just to the touching point, and you can see between that space and what looks like a minute little space from this distance is, a massive cosmic distance still how far away it is. But you can just see forming these little sparks and commingling lights of the ionized gases beginning to interact with both of these comets coming together. They're not going to collide. It looks like they're going to collide from this distance, but even the close encounter that they're going to have is thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of miles apart from each other. But the trails of this comet streak almost from the near center that they are out to the outside edge of this gas cloud, this otherwise dark nebula that has been excited in blues and greens and yellows and purples, much like we have off in our background here.
Before we go kind of like into open comms with like everybody else, once we get ourselves situated, I'm going to just open up a direct line to Solitaire. So August, are you good?
Sure, I'm fine.
Right. I'm going to assume you don't remember the conversation we had last night about
Last
seeing
night.
stuff in your head from the Oracle.
I don't remember talking about that at all. I remember something about trying to get Uhura into spandex.
That's the last thing you remember?
I
Just
admit, I think I probably had a bit too much to drink last night. So,
well, you told me that you were afraid to go to sleep. And look, if you don't want to talk about it, I get it.
yeah, maybe I did say something about that. It's just these damn nightmares, I guess you could say. But it's more just, it's like it's on repeat in my head sometimes.
You're getting
Whatever all
crazy
that was.
feeling of deja vu.
Oh, look, if there's
I don't know, man.
anything that we can do to help, like, you can talk to us. And look, if you don't feel comfortable talking with the rest of them, you can talk to me.
Just gotta figure out what it means, man.
And look, I want to help. So I tell you what, like when we have some downtime between missions, I'll see what I can find out. All right.
All right. See if we can't figure something out. Yeah, I look out here and it's like even this just reminds me of some of those things that keep stuck in my head.
It's
It's like watching a video, but every other frame is gone.
oh, that
watching
seems
a
kind of freak. That seems kind of freaky, if I'm going to be honest.
What? Goddamn right it is. It's like there's just pieces cut out of this recording, and so none of it makes sense. Like he's like a jigsaw, but half the damn pieces done been thrown away. I don't know, man. To be honest, I wish Tavik hadn't. I don't blame Tavik, but if there was anybody who might be able to give some answers, maybe it was that crazy old man.
The only other one that we got is the Commodore. And right now, I don't think we're going to get much out of him. That means that I would really like to make him lose some teeth.
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to see if I can't get a word with him. Doubt they'll let me, though.
Yeah, well.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's
just,
too heavy of a talk for seeing pretty lights in the sky.
Let's just look at the pretty lights, man.
Yeah.
And he's going to start a music track playing in the background, and he let it go over comms. It's nothing loud or crazy or anything. It's actually mostly just like instrumental ambient kind of shit that he listens to a lot.
I was actually
Space Banjo.
No, but
Space Banjo. Yeah.
It's not Banjo.
Space Banjo's a vibe. I'm just saying.
I was actually just going to say that over open comms you can see a little ping for like a queued up shared music playlist sort of thing that they're sort of shooting out through open comms.
Nice.
If you wanted to join in on that, or just connect your two systems together and do your own thing.
Oh, and I have a sound system in mind, so I'm going to just tune into whatever August has.
All right. So we'll leave you floating out there for a bit and pivot our camera back down through space, zooming back over towards the station, or at least near enough by, to this. They call it a yacht, but it really is more of a barge, really. But the hosting external viewing platform enclosure for the Angels Dance Gala here. It is... Well, no, it's not tethered to the station because the station is revolving. So it is just sort of floating out nearby. Different shuttles have come and gone, bringing people to this yacht. Among them, we have Logan Ahura and Morgan Troy together, and we have Tavik and Lisbeth together. Would you two meet up, go together as groups, or are you doing your own things?
I definitely think we'll have done our own things, but we will see each other, I'm certain, when we are at the gala.
Yeah.
All right. So, I'm not sure, Logan, what you were expecting of this, because I know that Morgan didn't know what to expect from this. We'll get to your entrance in a bit, but it was not blown out proportion by Lisbeth for you, Tavik, because this is full-on upper-class pomp and circumstance where you stop at the entrance to this yacht and they announce you to the crowd of people, whoever may be listening, as you walk inside. And you get to this, and there's of course the loading area. You have to go in through the airlock and then out into a reception area and wait in line as people begin entering and being announced into this sort of floating space ballroom. It is a rather large space for, you know, a piece of an external piece of a space station. It's you know, probably the size of, you know, a small frigate, you know, open floor plan sort of style. Has just enough, you know, just enough engines and maneuverability and command and whatnot to keep it, you know, stable and position it where it needs to be. But it's not a starship by any means. But it's quite large. It's sort of enclosed. It's not a dome, but the sort of entire upper 2/3 of it is this transparent material that you can look out not just at the nebula itself, but the surrounding stars. You know, back out at the station. You're far enough away that you're not, you know, just looking at a big wall of the ring of the station. So it's a bit out more towards the distance. And there's a number of people moving into this ballroom being announced. Nobody you're terribly familiar with. Names you may have heard before of upper Navy officials, administrators. Commander Ronica Leary is here. It does not appear that she brought anyone with her, but she is here. You do hear the announcement for a Sir Rupert Asminoble of House Expedition of the Karakin Trade Baronies. And eventually, you wait in line and get your turn to enter into this gala. Which of you would like to go first? Preference?
I think.
Go ahead, number one.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think it is very likely that Tavik arrived early enough to be noticeably ahead of them in line.
All right. You get up to the front of the line where they have this little podium and an announcer dressed in a very nice sort of white suit, that asymmetrical cut, golden buckles, probably little epaulets. Not terribly dissimilar from what you wear on a day-to-day, Tavik. If a bit more formal. Yeah. But he has this this pad with everyone's details and the guest list and whatnot, and you step up and he announces Miss Lisbeth Azamalaki and Tav. There's a pause. And let me make sure I get this straight, because he would say the whole name.
Yeah, when there is that pause, Tavik leads in just a bit and goes, "The whole thing, please."
Of course, sir. And I think we only shorten it by, we only usually leave out Crichton, right? It's Tavik Crichton Vasier Harrison.
John Tavik
that's
Crichton.
what it is. That's what I was forgetting.
Yeah. John Tavik Crichton Vasier Harrison the Fourth.
Yeah. Announcing Miss Lisbeth Azamalaki and John Tavik Crichton Vasier Harrison the Fourth. You can see heads do turn at this. For the most part, aside from the Karakin, or I should say the Baron who came through, and a few other figures here or there. Not everybody, you know, turns and looks at who's there. The announcements quickly become background noise as the gala fills up, but a good number of heads turn when they hear Harrison.
I am immediately, as we make our way in, trying to pick out any representatives from Harrison that may be here. Both so I know where they are and who they sent, and also to see if they too are looking, or if they are actively making an effort to not.
Yeah, you I don't think you see anybody that you recognize by name, or even by any serious repute, but you do identify Harrison officials as being Harrison officials, the way they hold themselves, the way
Oh,
they are
yes.
dressed in very Harrison colors and cuts. And you can see a couple of them did turn and look at you and then immediately turn back to what they were doing. And then as you are going through the crowd, you do pick out a few who look like they purposely did not respond to your
I,
announcement.
I sort of lean in to Elizabeth and say, as we pass one who did not look over, I sort of lean in and just loud enough to be overheard. I go, you see, no tact.
She will squeeze your hand and take a long stride forward. Give a little like half grin off to one side, like, yes, you're witty. Now please shut up. I'm working here. And she does start leading you to various people, and we'll meet potentially some of those people in a bit. I already described vaguely what. Oh yeah, you said you were wearing
Yes,
a white
it's
suit, bow
very
tie. Yeah.
yeah, it's very much a classic like white with the sort of like well cut white slacks.
Mhm.
There's another similar to what he normally wears, like a zipped up top, but over that is a jacket that sort of buttons on the side. It has tails because of course
Of
it
course.
does. There is a black uh bow tie that is sort of outlined in sharp purple, which is recognizable obviously as
Mhm.
the bruise, the Harrison purple. Um, and there are flecks in it of green, the same sort of green that is in his hair. Um, he has on very sharp eyeliner tonight. It's just the sharpest cat eyes you've ever seen. And yeah, and I think he is in fact wearing a pair of white gloves as well.
Excellent. Yes, somebody who is two people here who are very clearly used to going to black tie formals and even more eccentric gala sort of things. Now, let's pivot over to the plebs and see what prom stuff they're wearing.
I'm sure they look very cute.
How fucking dare you, actually? Okay.
So, Mr. Goldfoot,
So,
what's the rest of this ensemble?
so when Logan first walks in, he's got a very long black duster that is sitting on his shoulders. Uh, there is a black cowboy hat on his head. There's the little rope around it that has gold tassels. And then when he takes off the jacket, like when he removes it from off of his shoulder, he's wearing a well-fitted emerald green suit with a vest, and there's a white shirt underneath it. All of the detailings are gold, and the plating that got added actually looks like a cowboy boot. So it's a gold cowboy boot to match the black one on his normal leg. Yeah, he's even got a belt buckle to go along with it. Like fully embracing, his Dust Haven roots for all of these people to see. They
Very
have
nice.
no clue what it is, but yeah.
Yep, very nice. So Morgan Troy, you probably had a conversation about this morning or the night prior. He does have to wear his military dress uniform. But you two can sort of spruce it up with accessories and whatnot that mirror what you have going on.
Okay. Cool.
So you'll be able to, replace some of the, like braided cording and sort of brocade or whatever shiny bits of the detailing around his military uniform will be that more emerald green to go with your suit. A few different, replace the buttons with, more gold buttons, buckles and whatnot. So still a very sleek, dress military uniform, but definitely matches what you have going on. That was that was a requirement for these tickets that he goes as a guest of the Union Navy.
Sure. Yeah, just as we're getting in, just next time you should let me. That way you wouldn't have to wear your monkey suit. Don't get me wrong, you look great in it, and I can't wait to see it on my floor later. By the way, I am saying this right next to the guy that's announcing.
And let me just scroll real quick. Actually, I don't know if he's in the series Bible either, because I think I just have them in your.
Yes. Morgan Troy?
Yes, I'm just
Or
looking
are you
if
talking
he had
about
a rank. Don't know if we gave him a lieutenant, maybe?
Lieutenant sounds about right. I was just looking at it.
It's probably lieutenant. But you would notice the Union Navy has a much more robust and realistic military grading system as opposed to Star Trek, where there are 5 ranks and 5 ranks only. So he's got a little extra bar next to his usual lieutenant, so he's like an extra grade higher or whatever it is. But he's not like a full commander or anything. He just got the next little bump up. So there is that sort of almost aggressive clearing of the throat. Introducing Mr. Morgan Troy of the Union Navy and guest Logan Ahura. A few people turn their heads as you walk inside.
Definitely gonna tip the hat.
Yep. Yeah, you get a couple eyes from that. A few people who actually put on a little chuckle or sort of do the chin raise back to you, and a few who just kind of look at you and roll their eyes.
Cool. I'm gonna be such an asshole to all of those people. It's gonna be great.
So I think that's a perfect compliment, because Morgan does take a few steps inside the gala, walks in, giving people behind him space to be introduced and whatnot. Walks in and then stops. Very clearly does not know what to do in this situation.
What's wrong? I'm gonna look. I'm trying to follow where his gaze is.
Oh, he's just looking around. I knew this would be a nice event. It's gonna be fancy, very nice. I don't know if I know anyone here.
You know me. And
right, no, that is all that's important.
And I'm almost positive that Tavik is going to be here. So you know him. Sort of. As well as you can know any egomaniac. Right.
Well.
All right.
Buffet table.
Sure. Let's get a drink first. And then we can try and make friends.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So
We got
before
this.
Morgan goes full Keeley,
Just gonna special interest at everybody.
all right. So the two of you can, the two groups of you can break off in your own mingling. Go get drinks. It is catered. There are people who are going around with trays of drinks and trays of little hors d'oeuvres. There is a small orchestra off to one side. And I say orchestra, but it also has all kinds of different instruments from all over various worlds. And they sort of cycle through different styles of vaguely orchestral music. The stuff you would normally have in a gala. They're not putting on like a punk rock show or anything. But every now and then you do hear these sort of strange instruments or these beats, for lack of a better word. I mean, you wouldn't really describe orchestra as having beats, would it? I don't know. But these different musical stylings that aren't necessarily, you know, Victorian ball or whatnot. It's a very eclectic mixture, and you can see this out amongst the crowds. Very eclectic mixture, very diverse mixture of all kinds of peoples and cultures from all over the worlds of Union. There's the very bright, almost gaudy fabrics and ornamentations of the Carrican trade baronies. There's the much more minimalist and militaristic stylings of some of the larger corporations, and a few others that don't look all that dissimilar to what you have going on in varying degrees and varying different stylings of cultural leanings, and that look like they are just independent either business people or politicians or administrators or whatnot, representing whatever far off world or moon or colony or station that they may have come from in order to view this event. And you realize that this is much larger than just this station or this local blink gate. This is something that has spread. The news of this has spread out amongst the Union, and even beyond with the Carrican trade baronies as a rather interesting stellar phenomenon that only comes up not even once in a lifetime. So there are a lot of influential people here who have cashed in on some political favors or paid their way in to watch something that them and their children and maybe even grandchildren might not get to experience.
Amazing. I think Logan has become aware as of late that there is something to playing the game. Especially because like he started from the negative, you know what I mean? Like started a backworld planet, you know, doesn't have all of his original. So he's sort of starting. I say all that to say, I think he is going to try and network.
Okay.
Just by being in the room. It's not the, hey, I'm looking for a particular person. No, I'm here and you see me. And we interacted, and that was a fantastic time.
Do you have anything on your person that would be recognizable as IPSN?
I probably would have. I was also probably going to look for anyone. Like if Dane is here, if Stormkirk is here.
Stormkirk is not here himself.
For quick clarification, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Has there ever been an interaction where it's been made clear to Tavik prior to this moment that Logan is involved directly with IPSM? Is that just like common knowledge?
I think it depends on what you mean by directly, but
does not work for them directly. He is he's a prospect.
Sure. But what I mean is,
has
oh,
been
I'm
for a
sorry.
while. It is common knowledge that he is being looked at.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you would know he comes from an IPSN world. Yeah, and you've probably heard him talk about IPSN here or there, but Logan does not work for IPSN or is directly politically involved with IPSN.
Yeah, he's not a stan. He has been using the system mostly to benefit his home planet.
Mhm.
Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if you have, like, you might have a little pin or something, like a little lapel pin of IPSN, maybe another one that has like your planetary crest or whatnot,
Mhm.
or just stylized
Um,
in some way similar to IPSN or that region of IPSN space.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely one of those like hero of Dusthaven,
Mm.
except
Just a big old
if you
sash.
know,
Hero of Dusthaven.
right. It's a little badge, like a sheriff's badge.
Yeah.
It's one of my gold elements.
I mean, no, you probably actually would have been given some sort of like IPSN Citizenry Hero Award or something.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So we can
Oh yeah.
see
So-
the two groups of you go out amongst the crowds, and yeah, you are beginning to turn heads, Logan, and see some recognition from IPSN stuff. And while you guys are moving through the crowd, the camera is going to pull out through the transparent material and swivel back over to where we have our dozens or so floating mechs out into space, and then pivot back towards the nebula where we see these two comets just starting to spark and come together, and you can see the light of the nebula is starting to spin and flow out in these tendrils of purples and pinks and bright yellows and bright greens and whatnot. And we're going to take a quick break right there and come back for the end of our festival and whatever else we can get up to in this downtime between missions. So I hope you've been enjoying the festival. We've had some fun stuff coming up. We've had some fun stuff. We're gonna have more fun stuff coming up. So stay tuned. Get up, do the human things, go touch some grass. We're gonna do our own little quick rest and repair. And be sure to sit back down here for the second half in about 10-15 minutes or so. And in the meantime, watch some pretty lights, listen to some cool music. I might run an ad just to appease our AI overlords. And we'll be back shortly. Stay tuned, folks. All right, hello, folks. We are back from break, back for the continuation of the Starcrier Conflict. No conflict tonight, though, not just yet. We are rejoining our two different groups out during the Angels Dance Festival, the second day, the most important day of this festival, celebrating a cosmological event that only comes by once every 257 years, a joining of two comets that fly very near each other inside a nebula gas cloud, exciting what would otherwise be a dark nebula into this spectacular light show. And as such, there is a whole festival, a number of stories of historical and mythological connection to these events, or at least analogous to these events. And one such way of celebrating this is with the Angels Dance Gala for the more individual, more influential, and perhaps wealthier, depending on where you are in Union and adjacent polities. These more upper crust, at least most of them, at the Angels Dance Gala, in this barge, this yacht, floating out, removed from our station, Far Station 12. Or there's the other group of people, the Lancers and some of the civilians who have been moved over to the scrapyard, an asteroid that has been retrofitted with interior caverns and domes and whatnot, terraformed in various ways for training and dueling maneuvers practices. And there we find, floating out amongst this asteroid, floating out amongst all of the other mechs and whatnot, looking out across this nebula that is sparking and trailing with blues and greens and purples and yellows, swirls and streaks through the night sky, through this nebula. But we'll pivot back and into the gala in our Angels Dance yacht, as we see both of our groups of individuals meandering around the crowds.
Uh, so Lion,
Yeah.
have we sort of been orbiting each other?
Oh,
Or
I think
like
so, certainly.
okay, gotcha. Like you got in there first. Did you actually notice when my name was called?
Oh, I think he certainly noticed when they called your name.
Okay. Gotcha. Just wanting to be sure.
I imagine that when it happened, both he and Elizabeth looked over and would have seen you and Morgan enter. And I think there was almost a conversation to be had about approaching you,
Mhm.
which Tavik shot down very quickly.
Wow.
I mean, to be fair, Lisbeth didn't fight too hard for it. She has a lot more important people to talk to tonight.
Wow. See, Tavik didn't say all that, but
Sure, you didn't have
and
to.
yeah,
It's fine. You're
yeah.
cool.
But
Don't
I
even worry
don't think
about it.
I don't think it's been an aggressively like focused on avoiding you from that moment. But I do think that,
Okay.
like you said, we've been orbiting each other. It just keeps
Okay. That's fine. Yeah.
slowly
And it's
zeroing
not
in.
and it's the same on our end. Uh yeah, Logan is just chilling. He's in a vibe-based economy. So he's catching whatever vibes he can from any people that seem interested in wanting to have conversation. Now, I do say, like, we probably do have the Kaylee moment where, there are a couple of people that are around him as he's telling us, um, tall tale about uh, the machines that they call the bucks, because you gotta stay on them for at least 8 seconds so they can do. Otherwise, the whole the whole facility will go down.
Very nice. Yeah, you get a few different groups of the crowd come over, and some are interested, some are just interested in arguing, and some are talking specifications.
I think actually, if I may,
Hmm.
if Q, if you would be all right.
So,
I think maybe there's a moment when you're telling one of these stories that does perhaps include a Harrison official in the immediate area.
okay,
Um,
sure.
that if they try to present something that could potentially in the most politeful way possible suggest that something that you're saying in your story is unlikely to be true, um which is not completely outside of the way Harrison tends to act in situations like this. I think that again, if you're all right with it, there'll be a moment where Tavik just sort of almost appears. um
Materializes, yeah.
Yeah, he just sort of like in that perfect, like rigid, hands behind his back, that single step where he almost comes up beside you, and there's a moment where he just sort of looks this guy in the eyes, and then proceeds to rattle off all of the very specific reasons why the suggestion doesn't make sense, and how he completely understands why there'd be that level of confusion. You know, he's seen a lot of the specifications and the recent files that Harrison has had. Well, maybe not so recent anymore, but he's seen most of the files that Harrison has kept anywhere, including obviously those that are only available to the um, most important eyes, which he probably wouldn't know anything about. So you can't really fault him for having this confusion, but it's completely realistic and possible that what Logan here is saying is actually more likely than just possible. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Also, I have video evidence, so what he said plus this.
Well, with our newest line of Harrison products, that wouldn't even be a concern. So,
Right,
he
right.
huffs and just walks away from the conversation.
Gotcha. Oh, damn. I meant to ask him how he does how Harrison does with climate controls, like extreme climate, because Dusthaven can be a mess.
Oh, they try. Don't think there's any massive failures on that part, but comfort is not the primary concern.
Mm,
Nice hat.
thanks. One of the few things I kept from back home.
Well, if you ask most of the squad, the only thing I kept from back home is my ego.
And your eating habits. That's just me, though.
Well, it's important to stay healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Clean bill of health. And not a fun meal to be had.
Well, I'm sure there'll be something interesting, if not fun, here. Less grease, generally.
Okay. I don't listen. If the appetizers or if the hors d'oeuvres are any indication, I don't know. But I did sneak in a little bottle of hot sauce just in case. I don't know. Can you handle spice?
It's not my preferred flavor, no. But it's good that you have it, because if these are anything like the events back on Raj Shamra, you'll need it.
Yeah, I was kind of figuring that. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have to do this all of the time?
Oh, yes.
Hmm. I see why you come off the way you do. You kind of have to.
I'm not sure if I should take that as a compliment or an insult.
Both.
Hmm. Interesting.
If you live in this world, and he just sort of points out at the crowd, you have to believe your own bullshit more than they believe their bullshit. Hear me out. Hear me out. And I'm not saying that all of you is bullshit. I have seen you on the field. I've seen you in training. You're good. But there's a level to it that you have to exude and exhibit all the time, especially around these folks. Because otherwise, you get walked all over. Like that poor bastard in the corner that's on his fourth martini in 30 minutes.
Not everyone's cut out for it. But I will update your information just a touch since you do seem interested in playing the game. He says as he taps a little bit on the badge that you have on.
Mm-hmm.
It is less that you have to believe your own bullshit and more that you need them to believe your bullshit more than their own.
Fair point.
Plenty of ways to go about that. Though, some will make you more friends than others.
Yeah.
Making sure everything still smells nice and fresh with all that bullshit in the air.
I mean,
For the
this is flowery bullshit. I'm used. Listen, X. Thanks.
stay safe out there.
You do the same.
Hmm.
Also, that was choice. That man didn't know what he had coming.
The only thing the armory understands is strong fist and an iron word. Otherwise, they won't respect you. Or worse, they'll use you to get themselves more respect. It's the ego.
Yeah, noticing that. Hey, listen, I got iron words and iron bullets. That's the best I got.
It's a start.
Great. I am going to go get my partner another drink. He's been sweating bullets.
Not made out for this.
No, not quite.
How cruel of you to drag him through this nightmare then.
Oh, well, I didn't know that until we got here.
You should have asked.
Listen, he's a lieutenant. I thought he knew the.
Oh, there was no hope.
I told him I could use my content to show off. So here we are. He's showing off. Well, I'm showing off for him.
Hmm.
Well, you have fun. I'm going to go and mingle some more.
Yes, fun. I've been told I do that wrong. Enjoy your mingling.
I mean, well, the context for it here is wrong, but you seem to be doing it well. Just gonna go off and grab another.
Yeah.
All right.
And as they separate, Tavik is going to look over at Lisbeth and go, "Is that gentle enough for you?"
That was a very nice moment of connection.
That isn't what I meant.
I'm not sure I understand what you're implying here.
That's all right then. Shall we?
Let's. In fact, I do believe I see Greer. Let me introduce you to somebody who will be potentially quite important here on the station. Could be a useful contact for you. She'll move you up to a small group of people. As a conversation goes on for a little bit, they're talking about a potential new line in the SSC Lux Iconic series. Stuff that's still more or less conceptual, or so they're claiming. Of various things that, they might want to try out here or there. Or sort of bragging amongst themselves. It looks like it's mostly SSC in this small group. Maybe a few like independent, traders or researchers or whatnot. They're not talking so openly and brazenly to, say Harris individuals or IPSN individuals, bragging about their advancements in R&D or whatever they're working towards. But when there's a lull in the conversation, Lisbeth will get this individual's attention. Suzuko, it is a pleasure to see you again. I know my recent profession here on the station doesn't permit me nearly as much time to visit you or the Constellar. And Suzuko Greer is this very tall, very lithe. It almost looks like they're sort of elongated. They're probably a good 6.5 feet tall or more. But they almost look like you took an already, reasonably tall person and just taffy stretched them out a little. Their legs and their arms and their torso and even their skull to a certain extent seems a little just elongated. Just a little bit. And their skin is quite pale. Not sickly so, but pale. You, of course, do know this, but for the audience, SSC is probably the leading corporation for genetic research and custom population building it through a series of post-birth genetics and eugenics and stuff like that to create very specific populations custom tailored to whatever environment or purpose they're designed for. So humanity is starting to take on a lot of different shapes and colors and features that it hasn't seen prior to the last 500 years or so, because SSC is starting to push the bounds of what human really is. And you get just an inkling of this off of Suzuko. But they have a very elegant sort of androgyny to them. They're very lithe. They do have this sort of icy blue makeup on that does complement in a way their very pale complexion. It almost evokes this sort of cold feeling. Perhaps they were custom tailored to a much colder environment. You're not really sure. But Suzuko Greer is again wearing very standard SSC colors and fabrics that very sort of Eastern motif of futuristic kimonos and stuff like that. Brocaded silks or brocaded fabrics and patterned silks and whatnot in a lot more asymmetrical, stylish, different ways. Zuzuko, this is... Is Tavik all right, my dear, or do I need to use the full title?
Tavik is perfectly fine.
This is Tavik. I've told you about him before. All good things, my dear. This is Zuzuko Greer. They are the SSC Regional Operations Manager here at Far Station 12. In charge of the actual fabrication process and its corresponding liaisons for the Lux Iconic line, created here specifically tailored and handcrafted right here at FS12.
A pleasure to meet you.
Right? Reach out their sort of stretched out arms. You can see it even looks like they have a fourth finger joint.
There is a moment of pause that is just visible on Tavik's behalf before he reaches out and clasps their hand.
And the fingers do wrap a little further around than you would expect. And they're very warm to the touch, actually.
I have gloves on.
You do. I mean, are they particularly
feel
thick
that?
gloves? I mean, they're
I mean, they're just gloves, so they're not terribly thick. That's fair.
Yeah. You get the sense that maybe they're a little warmer to the touch.
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure to meet you. It is, I believe, Vasir Harrison, as I've been told.
It is. Yes.
Well, it is a pleasure to have you among our company, not just myself here, but I'm sure the entire gala. It is...
With respect, I'm certain there are at least a few here who would prefer I not be here, but I do deeply appreciate your welcome.
I'm sure that is the case.
Hmm.
I do wonder how many would openly say that, though. It is a rarity to find a Harrison amongst anyone, and even more of a rarity to turn one away.
Indeed.
Well, we could commence with the politicking, if you would prefer, but I have been telling my colleagues here about some of our newer advancements in, I believe, something you would be quite interested in, our newer line of chassis and associated component parts.
Well, far be it from me to derail the conversation, and I'm always interested in hearing what the future brings, especially for such uniquely well functioning unit.
There's a pause, like she doesn't know how to take what you just said.
Sure.
Well, I am certain you have your own insights into whatever Harrison is getting up to. Not that I will pry, but I would certainly be interested in sharing notes, or at least conceptual, hypothetical ideas. You see, designing and crafting these mechs is something that I've had a personal interest in myself for quite some time. I am not just an pad-pushing bureaucrat or administrator. I do still enjoy heading back to the drafting table every now and then. In fact, we are working on a very interesting new concept involving new NHP usage and incorporation of hard light for various force fields. The conversation goes on along that route. And you might notice, Havoc might notice, it was probably meaningful that she sort of stuck with the same line of topics talking about various mechs and improvements and whatnot, but choosing now to focus on a more experimental, potentially non-causal defensive system. Which is, of course, anyone who knows Harrison knows that they are known for being quite sturdy. And
Yep.
not many people know this. You do. They might. It's uncertain. That Harrison does do plenty of their own paracausal and NHP research.
Actually, as the conversation goes on, I would like to see if I can ascertain from the way that they speak and move specifically on that topic, if I can perhaps figure out if they do know any level of what Harrison is involved with when it comes to that. Maybe with a read a situation.
Sure. Yeah, give me a roll for that. Is this just trying to pick up what she's already throwing down, or are you trying to specifically maneuver the conversation to get something out of her?
I am trying to see how much information she is willing to put out there with some gentle nudging. Just to get a gauge on what the actual investment in this conversation is. The level of it, at least, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's always the conversations that start with, instead of politicking, let us just, that are the most politic. So I think for Tavik, this conversation is very much about finding out how badly they actually want to get into a political or business discussion relationship future.
Right.
Here.
Right. All right. I see you see the cards I'm laying down. Yeah. So yeah, you're nudging this in a specific direction. So I am going to give you a D6 of difficulty.
Okay. Actually, if I may, since I'm nudging the conversation, could I do a take control instead of read a situation?
Sure. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
I assume I still take that difficulty.
Yes.
Okay.
I think, in fact, that is more appropriate, actually. Take control.
Okay. I did this right.
Ooh.
That is a 2.
That's a 2.
I rolled a 1.
Yep. So I will actually give you this option. You can push for a risky roll.
I absolutely would love to push. Yes.
I figured. Yep. So this will make it a risky roll. So you still just have to beat a 10, but anything less than a 20 will have complications of some variety.
Mm-hmm. And I still have 1 difficulty on this, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Wonderful.
But you are.
I think it is already well established that this is not Tavik's forte, and that won't stop him from trying.
Yeah, you're maybe pushing a little too hard, maybe a little too overtly, doubling down on some rhetoric.
Mm-hmm. That is a 9. I think there are portions where too much of the Harrison Armory point of view sort of shines through at the wrong moments. Things that he hasn't unlearned yet.
Right.
And coupled with his own arrogance and most of his practice in situations like this being with people who couldn't say anything back regardless.
Yeah.
That maybe he just wasn't prepared for those at all.
All right. So, even with a 9, and that's one less than what you needed, with a 9, you would definitely, I mean, you probably knew this going into it, but there was definitely a reason that Lisbeth particularly introduced you to this person. And, I mean, for her purposes, Lisbeth's purposes, and also very likely for Zuzuko's purposes. And perhaps even as a nice softball for your own purposes. But what any of those purposes are, you really can't get a grasp of, other than that. I mean, what you already admitted to earlier, you are a Harrison and you are important. And so people are going to want to try to get something out of you. I think that's more or less what you're working with. And I think, unfortunately, that does come through in the conversation, that you're kind of doubling down on, I am Harrison. I'm not part of Harrison. I am Harrison.
I am Harrison.
Yes.
And I think as it goes on, he's getting more flustered. Not to the point of panic or loudness per se, but I think it becomes very apparent during the course of this conversation what the concerns were back home, and why he is an ace pilot and not an ace politician.
Mm-hmm. So I think the conversation doesn't go much further than talking conceptual specifications, conceptual mech theory, and whatnot.
Mhm.
The beginning was a lot of, oh, what's your opinion on this? Or, I heard that Harrison may have been looking into this line, or trying to just gently poke and prod at your own opinion, or try to get something out of you. But as it went on, and you were doubling down on yourself and not reaching for the things that they were trying to, hold out and connect with.
My opinions are all focused on self-import, and were presented as fact and not opinion. Or were dismissive in places where I didn't feel it was prevalent to what I wanted to say.
So I think in not too long, Zuzuko and a couple of the other SSC people here will politely excuse themselves to go talk to other, trading interests and whatnot. Well, Lisbeth, well, certainly a lot of very interesting things coming out of the Constellar recently.
Yes. Too much of the drivel. They kept talking in circles for nothing. And when they were given perfectly adequate, interesting, meaningful responses, they just weren't content to take them and move on. It was disappointing, if nothing else.
Well, perhaps some of these things that they were talking about will make their way to something more tangibly appreciable, and something we might be able to look at or discuss at the actual assembly here at some point, if you are ever interested in incorporating any SSC technology into your design for your hard suit, for your chassis. They would be the one to go to. I wouldn't discount their musings, even if they are just musings.
Something to consider, perhaps. I think for now I have yet to see too many reasons to look beyond the armory as far as technology or research goes, but I'm not opposed to having more of these conversations as long as they have substance. Hypotheticals will only go so far, my dear.
Hmm.
This is why so rarely does the Armory publish research before it is ready for production.
Yes, Harrison does focus more on their, well, more on the final product than the hype of it. I suppose that comes with quality that they are known for. Much of the rest of us, however, put a little bit more into our marketing.
Well, not everyone's product can confidently speak for itself.
Hmm. It's a shame we're past it at this point, but it would have been interesting to have Throne and Carmina have a bout at the scrapyard.
Maybe we'll find some time. Never opposed to humbling anyone. No matter how much I care for them.
And I do know how you care for yourself. He winks and spins. Rides off.
There's a shot as she strides off where the veneer kind of cracks, and there is that visible just deep frustration. There is panic in his head right now because he knows he is out of his depth, and he has been smacked hard in the face with the fact that he cannot continue to fake this,
Mm,
but is still going to be here for quite some time.
yep. No.
And I think there is a as the night goes on, I think there are moments of him having to find ways to sort of try and distract himself. There's very much just the overwhelming, overstimulated sensations that start sort of building up again. I think there is a point where he will excuse himself to the bathroom, and visibly be perhaps not super okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when he gets in there, he will be splashing water on his face, and he will be taking a couple of minutes to breathe.
Yeah,
Do I see him do that? Do I see him have that moment?
Do you want to see that? Because you can see that. Yeah.
I kind of want to.
all right.
Oh yeah.
Well, I will say
So
before you
what's up?
interject there, you will see Tavik sort of go a little pale, maybe a little shake. Not if you didn't know him, probably not enough to really pinpoint that there's something definitely wrong. But does make a purposeful trajectory towards the restroom.
Yeah, it's not as obvious as it was at the street fair, but it's still it's enough for you to be able to like see that and pull back and be like, wait.
But Tavik, you get into the restroom, and fortunately, I mean, there's enough of these places, whether they be restrooms or just break rooms or whatnot. This is a whole like frigate-sized yacht. You can get into one and maybe have to like still comport yourself while somebody else is in there. You go into a stall and just wait and get yourself centered. But you can go out, you splash some water on your face, and you look up and you open your eyes, and standing behind you right over your shoulder is the Oracle.
Immediately he punches the mirror. Immediately, just without thought, fist to glass.
Fist to glass, it shatters. Enter Logan.
When you kind of, he's still just like the fist is on the glass. He's leaning forward into it a little bit, breathing heavy.
A little streak of blood that begins dripping down.
So
Nips to attention immediately. Hands behind him, perfect posture.
So this should, I mean, quite obviously, I know the answer to this. Ask. You good?
Always.
So, in your spectrum of fine punching glass is well and truly okay?
He's visibly grinding his teeth, and his eyes flicker over to the mirror for a moment. They flicker back. There's a fly.
So you decided to punch it.
I decided it needed to be dealt with. It was unseemly.
Okay. So, s- I know that you and I are not friends, but we are connected. We are a squad. Your team, my team. We're together in this. And it seems like you are having about as good a time as August is. So, have you spoken to anyone about it?
About what?
About what happened in that room?
I made my report.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I know what I heard. And the report seems like things got left out.
What do you mean?
It seems like there was more to that situation. More that happened that none of us could see. And we couldn't even hear anything. Well, we couldn't hear everything. We heard enough to know that whatever happened in those 3 to 5 seconds shook both of you to your core. And you're still dealing with the aftershocks of it.
I am doing my duty. And you're right. We are not friends. I appreciate what you're doing right now. It is very kind. I'm fine and will continue to be so. And I will assure you that it will have no impact on whatever we do next. So if that is your concern, I will do my best, as I always have, to ensure that everyone makes it back. Beyond that, I don't know what you're looking for here, but I don't have it for you.
I came to wash my hands. He's going to take his pocket square. Just hand it to you. You've got some blood.
He reaches up. He thinks about it for a minute. And then I think he's not going to take it. He's going to peel off the gloves, toss them in the trash on the way out.
All right.
as you're walking out, just real quick. Being king of the hill is a lonely position there, bud. And then you just hear water.
And as he exits, he sees ahead of him the sea of people that he desperately does not want to be amidst. And there is a very slight motion of his head, almost turning to look back. Just a twitch before he stops. The teeth grinding stops as he grits his teeth, flexes his fists. There's a shot where you can see one drop of blood just sort of drip onto whatever carpeting they have here. And then he slips his hands into the pockets of his slacks and returns to the party. The Gala.
All right. We'll follow Tavik back into the sea of people and then swoop up out of the transparent material looking out and back up over to the scrapyard where our other two Lancers, amongst many others, are floating out in space. Again, just enjoying the coming together of these two comets. Listening to some music, talking back and forth between each other and the rest of the team. What else are you guys up to?
At this time, I'm going to put my helmet on. August, I'm going to go for a walk real quick.
Okay, hold on a second.
Then I'm going to just kind of like unfasten myself, open the hatch, and I'm just going to stand on top of my bag, activate the mag clamps on my boots, and I'm just going to kind of like sit there and just allow myself to be weightless for the time being, even just kind of like lean back a little bit and just kind of take everything in.
In fact, you probably have a cord or something that you could clip to your belt and clip to somewhere in your cockpit, and you could just free float even
Yeah.
without your mag clamps.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah, it is peaceful out here. Obviously, completely quiet, drifting out amongst the stars. Just the slightest bit of listing, as you probably need to pump your maneuvering jets just a bit to get yourself stable, so you don't actually get into some sort of rotation. But you can just sort of drift out, spread out, completely weightless, just taking in this vast, glowing, sparkling now nebula out in front of you.
No, August, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I'm gonna be leading their next mission whenever we get it.
Sorry, say that again. My audio was cutting out.
I don't think I'm gonna be leading the next mission whenever we get it.
Why would you say that?
Look, I think we can both be honest that the Dresball mission did not go according to plan.
Well, oh, you're not wrong.
Yeah, and look, I bear my brunt of the blame. I'm not gonna deny that.
I think we all made some perhaps questionable decisions here and there.
Yeah, I know. Look, I might be rated number 2 right now, but the thing is that I don't see any one of you below me, except for maybe Tavik. But that's just because ego on that guy's nuts. But he's a skilled pilot. I'm not gonna take that away from him.
Oh, he definitely is. He just
But
lets it go to his head and thinks that it means he needs to do everything.
yeah, and I'm going to be talking with Command, and I would like to see either you or Logan or Shiv kind of in charge calling the shots next time. I just think it's only right that we all get a bit of experience in this, and like it was never in charge of a team outside of like our training exercises. Like
Well, I'll give you a word of warning. I'm pretty sure if you try to put Shiv in charge, you might catch the end of that moniker, in your kidneys.
All right, I take that back. You are Logan then.
I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of chaos when it comes to actually carrying out something. Things happen in the moment. And figure it out. I think it's less about who's in charge than it is listening to each other and working together.
Yeah, it just hindsight's always 20/20, and right now I'm just kind of questioning most things. If I'm going to be honest.
You and me both.
Look,
Question all kind of things right now.
yeah, apparently your entire perception of reality has been kind of shifted a little bit.
You ain't kidding, man. I ain't never done no psychotropics or nothing, but I'm pretty sure I know how they feel now.
I bet Shiv could probably get you set up with somebody. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they could do that.
I absolutely guarantee it. That honestly, shit's kind of scary sometimes like that.
Look, I know I'm good at tearing stuff apart, and I'm good at taking lives as needed. Protecting them's a little different. We didn't get that many jobs in the Circle of Blades that focused on keeping each other alive. We all knew that at the end of the day, some of us might not be coming back. But you're on my squad, and yeah, I feel like it's already starting to become obvious. We're kind of all we got here.
Yeah. No, I see that. This kind of loose organization, we ain't really military.
Well, I mean, even the people that we've been training with. 15 years. That was a short mission.
Yeah, it's true. I suppose that just means we need to have everybody stay together and no going off elsewhere. Because I'll tell you, Athen, I don't think that if we had had different people there, that it would have gone as well as it did. And I know you can look at it from one angle and say, well, this was a shit show and nothing went the way we planned it to. But every one of us came back. And we came back with what we were supposed to come back with.
We got the mission done.
Did. And damn, see, Uhura walked all the way over to that little shanty town with bullet holes in them. You think anybody else could have done that?
Not to brag, I probably could have.
Yeah, but you'd probably killed a whole bunch of people in the process.
Yeah, probably.
Just saying, we all got our things.
Yeah.
And they work well together. Shit. Don Tavik's a pain in the ass. Way too full of himself, but he's got his place. He'll figure it out eventually. As long as he
So-
doesn't get himself killed in the process.
I guess we'll have to look out for him too, huh?
It's what we do, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna just like very slowly like raise my arm up, and I'm gonna like open my communications up. Hey, Hotjaw, you out there?
Of course.
Hey, just out of curiosity, what do you think of your boss?
Commander?
Squad lead, whatever the no, Havoc. Squad lead.
Oh. Yeah, he's cool, I guess.
You guess. Oh, come on, man. Like, look, he ain't here. I think we can be honest with each other. You are absolutely no fun. You know that?
You look out, and actually you see quite a few other pilots are starting to crack their chassis and come out and float, attached to their mechs. You look around and do find Hotjaw. Sort of floats out and does eventually see you. We're talking space distances, so you're far enough apart that you're kind of small to each other, but he does kind of give you that sort of exaggerated full arm shrug to you. He's a good pilot. He gets shit done. I'm not gonna argue with him.
He's a pain in the ass to work with, though, right?
Not if you don't talk back.
But hold on, let me get this straight. Nobody in your squad talks back.
Hey, I don't really care. I mean, I care, but I'm not. I don't care about that level of. You sit me in this thing, and I will go, and I will do what I need to do, and that's where I'm at. Lich, who knows where the hell that guy's at? And well, I'm not gonna touch the whole him and Lisbeth thing with a 10-foot pole. You guys, yeah. So I'll just I go out on these missions. We do damn good, and then we come back, and I leave.
Enough. Hey, just out of curiosity, you looking to test your metal at all? Like once this whole event's done and stuff like that?
Oh, you want to go? Oh, we can
Hell
go.
yeah, I want to go.
Oh, we can go, man. We could go. I'd say we could go
Yeah,
right here, but they'd probably have a problem with that.
Yeah, actually, I
No,
think they
not
would have
right
a
here,
problem.
not
Look,
right now. That is the
yeah,
same
no,
time.
just we can just look at the pretty lights for the time being. But look, I'm just saying, I got some configurations I want to try out on the blade too, and I feel like you're the perfect person to knock your head in for a little bit. You wouldn't care.
Oh, we can go. Ooh. You can see he starts like
Hotshot, you don't
floating
do that.
off and listing because he's getting too animated.
Hotshot, I gotta admit, like I thought that primary support squad. I thought you guys were kind of stuck up, honestly, but you're not too bad.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't know about support squad. I think that was just what we were doing that mission. I mean,
Oh, just that mission, sure, but who knows what's gonna happen next?
yeah.
By the way, I also wanted to just say thank you for covering our asses there. I feel like we probably wouldn't have been able to do that much without you guys.
Oh yeah, those were. I'd rather be out here with other frames, maybe some ships, some boarding action, that sort of stuff. I mean, jets are cool and all, dropping bombs is fun, but it's not as exciting.
Give it time. Have fun. We'll probably run into that eventually.
Plus, Lich kept crashing all the missiles.
How dare he?
And you guys can go back and forth. You quickly pick up that that Hotjaw is very fond of moving very fast and things that explode very loudly. And that's about where he is. He is very high octane, very adrenaline, very thrill seeker sort of mentality.
I'm getting the sense that he's the definition of "I live my life a quarter mile at a time" kind of thing.
Yeah, yep, pretty much, yep.
Oh, I cannot wait to tear his back apart.
Yeah, you start. I mean, the conversation will quickly, if you go for it, pivot into what you want to do with your mech, and into stories of him playing with various things, and yeah, just talking some build crafting shop talk. Gotta get our hands on some of those good SSC missiles. They make some damn good missiles.
You know, the thing is, if you go IPSN, then you just eat the missile and then you kill the person that launched it.
Yeah, that could work too. Yeah.
Look, as long as you're not afraid to sacrifice parts, who cares?
He reaches up and his hand sort of slaps against his visor. sort of motioning to, the spot where half his face was blown off.
Fair enough.
All right. We will leave you guys floating there talking about explosions and pivot back inside to Logan and Morgan. I think I found him. Somebody I need you to meet.
Oh.
Yes. My captain let me know about this. He said he talked to somebody, wanted me to introduce you to somebody. A Karakin, actually.
Baron guy.
Yeah, I think he's a Baron. Some new house. Long room stuff. I think. Dawn Line Shore.
Interesting.
Haven't been out there. That's a long ways away. I hope I don't have to go there.
Yeah. Why would... Sure. Color me intrigued.
All right. Yeah, that's about all the prep I got for this. All the playing around with some music. Got some Gala music. Yeah, that's I mean, he just wanted an introduction, and I guess you two might hit it off. I mean, it's trade stuff. I know IPSN does a lot of trade. I don't know why my captain was interested in that, but I mean,
Interesting. Well, let's see what we get.
all right. Sort of straightens himself. Not very often. You can imagine that lieutenant, probably second grade, or wherever, has the opportunity or requirement to talk to somebody who is in charge of multiple planets.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, I don't know how big the Karakin trade baronies are, because I think it is only one solar system, and there's a lot of different houses. But it is a whole house, even if it's a smaller house, a noble of a group of people outside of Union. And you make your way over to this. It was a group that looks like it was dispersing. Somebody you've seen in your rotations throughout this, who has always sort of had somebody around, and you get the sense that that Morgan didn't want to try to jump into a whole cloud of people, and was waiting for some point where he was, people were dispersing, or he was going to find other groups. So that's a very quick conversation as he pulls you over towards this individual is, and he's not alone, of course. He does have two fairly large, imposing, probably personal security bodyguards with him. Very well dressed, extremely well dressed, to the point of gaudiness, really, as Karrakins tend to be. Lots of shiny, dangly bits, whether they be metal rope or badges and ribbons and various cords and whatever it may be. Lots of different jewels and other rare metals, whether they be in rings or necklaces or sewn on to whatever garment. And Lieutenant Troy walks up, and almost over emphatically sort of sticks a hand out very quickly, like a handshake hand, out towards the Baron. Hello, sir, and you can see one of the guards sort of take a half, like not a full half step, but just sort of like move his foot towards the, I'm getting in proper stance with that way too quick hand out.
Okay, I think there's a reflexive, like, hand to waist. As I'm looking at the guard, just like, be easy, be chill.
It is a lot that happens between everybody's eyes in that split second that it happens, and calms down very quickly as he does reach out and grasp Morgan's hand with a firm and probably also overly emphatic handshake as the other guard announces it. Sir Ruppelt Casminoble. Sir Ruppelt Casminoble. Yes, I'm tired of being announced to everybody I talk to. Ruppelt. Will do. You said Troy and your friend here?
Logan O'Hara.
Nice to meet you, Mr. O'Hara. I have seen you out and about. Very nice jacket you have today. Where did you get that color? Is that local?
It is. One of the local shops has a nice selection. And they said this went with my eyes.
Well, I will have to peruse around then. It is always a pleasure coming out to these further reaches and seeing, well, all kinds of new things.
Certainly. Well, I was told you were wanting to meet me.
Oh, were you?
Potentially. Or at least have introduction made.
And yeah, Morgan at that point sort of like puts a hand on your shoulder and pats it nervously a few times. Oh, I was just talking with Logan here. I'm lieutenant in the Union Navy, out on patrol. I was sponsored to attend this event, you may say, by my captain. I think I gave his captain a name at some point, which I don't remember, and will take too long to find. No, he was just saying I talking as officers do in long stellar voyages. I'm sure you're used to working with people who go on long stellar voyages. No, just thought it would be helpful for at least for maybe not for you, but for Logan here to meet someone as respectable and far-reaching as yourself, sir.
I apologize. I got that backwards. I'm supposed to be meeting you. Hopefully making your...
Oh, well, whatever the case. Nods towards the nervously twitching Morgan by your side. Whatever the case, it is a very fine, very rare event that we find ourselves in. And you always meet the most interesting people coming to these events, wouldn't you say?
Well, I'd imagine so, but this is my first.
Ah,
So I suppose to be meeting you would be rather lucky for me.
well, first of many more, perhaps.
That is the hope.
I do believe I see some IPSN regalia. Is that correct? I do a lot of business with, or at least adjacent to, IPSN.
Yes, same. Um, we both are originally from Dust Haven, one of the production facility planets.
Hmm.
Resource. And well, I helped to protect one of their facilities before I was a Lancer.
Ah, yes. I've heard about this program all the way out here. The Union Navy Lancer Auxiliary Corps is the official title.
Yes.
Very interesting. Of course, the Karakan trade baronies employ their own, what I assume is a very analogous force. These are my two local attendants for this event.
Do I know them?
No,
Have you ever seen them around? Okay.
no, not at all.
Gotcha. So not local to me. Cool. That's fine.
I do believe, that both of them have a slight preference towards SSC, if I remember correctly. But I do know that IPSN does produce some very fine, mostly logistical stuff, more so necessarily than, personal security.
I suppose. I've found that some of their builds can be quite adept at security more than just logistics.
Oh, I'm sure that's the case. I know they've invested quite heavily after after a long series of losses in shipping lanes, piracy, and other stellar phenomenon and whatnot. Not that doesn't happen to everybody, but
Of course, but
you do have to learn to protect yourself out there on long trading voyages.
right, especially when you are known as the company that does the security for trade. I suppose.
I suppose. Well, what if I may ask, what I suppose what brings a Lancer to the revolution of IPSN was he doesn't tap at it, but he does sort of poke the air around this metal that you're wearing. I suppose that's where this all stemmed from.
Correct. I was just a local, one of the many that helped, well, one of the ones that ran the facility.
Hmm.
And
Production facility, you said.
mhm. The facilities were prone to piracy before they were even IPSF.
Unfortunate, but that is a sad reality of life too far away from what I understand to be the rather extensive Union Blink system.
Right. Without the protections of most of the the Union, we were sort of left to our own devices. and we managed for a while, and then I came in, and they changed some of their procedures. And there was an incident when change of said procedures. But I was the lucky kid in the right place at the right time to help and protect our livelihood.
A very noteworthy service. And at a young age on your own ambition. Very I can see why you have made it out amongst this Lancer Auxiliary Corps.
Yes.
I take it you're not terribly interested in freight in that case.
No, not typically my go-to. However, I don't think I'll be in the Corps forever.
Do you have plans for the future?
Potentially.
I'm sure if they've given you recognition like this, an important asset, you may very well be.
Potentially. However, I have signed no official contract.
Ah, smart. Well, House Expedition, my house, new but quickly growing, is one of, we are setting out further and further from our own system, out further and further from Arrakis. My house, I have invested quite heavily in what I believe you refer to as the Long Rim shipping lane out to the Dawn Line. A lot of very interesting things happening out there.
Yes.
And with interesting things does come its own tumultuous currents, to make an anachronism.
I would be more than eager to hear of some of these interesting.
Oh, well, you've
Interesting
made the
occurrence.
first mistake of your night, my boy. And he throws a gaudy, overly bejeweled arm around your shoulder and leads you off as he starts regaling you with tales of the Long Rim.
You say mistake, I say opportunity.
Well, if you find these impressive, one day I may just tempt you away from this mercenary life. And you could potentially, I make no promises. I am always looking to add to my retinue, and he sort of motions broadly behind him to these two individuals. As I said, we do employ the very best in the Carrican baronies, and now beyond.
Of course, I have no doubt. I'm always willing to look for. While we're talking, I would love to figure out, like, if I can, what would potential rates?
What would what?
What would potential rates be? Like what's the pay like? Because I want to know what I should be telling IPSN.
Mm-hmm.
What they need to come to the table.
Right.
Minimum.
Yeah. So salary gets a little weird in Lancer because they tried. Lancer is almost just barely kind of trying to tell itself that it's a post-scarcity society and that money doesn't matter. Within Union, at least within the network of Core World next to Gates, money doesn't matter. There's enough resources to go around. You get what you need. You do what you want, basically. Further out, I imagine there's some sort of like social credit, merit-based credit, or something that will allow you to apply for various numbers of resources or whatnot. And then Union commercing with outside polities uses mana, or mana, however you want to pronounce it, which is still a very vague undefined, ever-shifting currency. Is basically a Union IOU card that they hand out. So talk of pay doesn't really come up. It's more talk of experience and prestige and the lifestyle
Okay.
that you could live. I think that's what he would focus on, not so much as he would sort of brush off payment and focus more on the lifestyle you could live.
Well,
Uh,
if that's the way that the system goes, then that is how Logan would have phrased it, not
Right.
looking specifically for pay.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
that's
we're
probably.
just trying to know. Yeah, we're looking for the perks, my guy. I want I want to know,
Mhm.
what I can get into.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like he knows all that much about the higher end inner workings of IPSN culture, if you want to call it that. Um, but the Barons live well. They live in luxury. There's a reason he is becrusted gaudily tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably, hyping himself up, certainly. But, grand chambers and feasts and
Mm-hmm.
wine and I would say wine and women, but wine and
Whatever your
luxury
heart's desire.
aplenty.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah, the Karakin trade baronies, at least as he is portraying it, they live well as long as you're willing to live and die for them.
Okay.
But you're
Gotcha.
having this conversation. We'll follow that conversation for a little bit as we move again back out through the Gala yacht, up out into space. Do you two have anything else you're getting up to? Or are you just drifting peacefully?
Like, especially since we don't have Shiv, cause problems.
Let me hack the
Probably-
asteroid.
Probably the most at peace that I've been since we got back.
Yeah, August is very much just trying to relax. Like, I'm picturing, feet up on the dash, kicked back kind of thing.
Mm.
Just vibing, as Q would say.
All right. You're all out there, drifting or otherwise reclining in your cockpits. I imagine our timelines are converging at this point, and it's probably this time in the night, actually. The Baron, Sir Rupert, is probably with this conversation leading Desperado over to like the main viewing. What do you call that window that sticks just outside of a house? What do you call that? Trapezoidal. There's a name for it.
There is a name for it. I don't
The
remember the
bay
name.
windows?
Yeah,
Are we talking
Bay?
about bay windows?
I guess. I think
Yeah.
there's a. Anyway, this big viewport that you can gather around, and it's large enough. It's wide enough that plenty of viewing room on that side of this yacht. So you head over there. The camera moves upward, and we see this spark, this sort of stream this jet of streaming color that flies out and twists and dissipates, diffuses out into the nebula cloud as these two comets look like they're meeting. They're obviously not meeting, but they're starting to overlap each other, and the entire nebula sort of erupts in this cascading sparkle of intense flashes and waves of blue and green and purple and pink as sparks begin trailing off in this sort of perpendicular stream from the way that these comets had been coming in. And it is a magnificent light show. For you out in space, it is silent, especially for you you who are actually outside of your mechs, out in space. There's just the slight hum that you get still being connected by the belt to your cockpit. That very, very slight, barely audible hum of the microfusion generator of your mech. And that is all there is out here in the otherwise silence, with this beautiful, massive, astronomical, cosmic light show happening in front of you. And inside on the yacht, a whole bunch of people here are gathered. There are gasps at that first sort of almost explosive moment of light that comes out as these two comets seem to meet at the apex of their joining point, their overlap. There are gasps. The orchestra in the back sort of swells, and everyone stops and watches for a while. Obviously, this is an event that's going to take a while to, see through. It took a day and a half or so for these comets to, get to this point, and will continue slowly moving on along across their paths. But there's gasps and cheers and the din of remarks happening inside the gala, people talking about various things. You can hear conversations akin to mythological storytelling. There's couples here or there that are trying to discreetly share a little bit of affection amongst the crowd of the hoity-toity here. And then out in space, you guys are simply just floating and taking it all in. And it is a peaceful moment and a beautiful moment. I will leave it to you guys as to what you feel and what you express in the moment, but this is a sight that not many people have seen, and not many people are ever going to see again. This is, to your knowledge, and perhaps even to Union science knowledge, a unique phenomenon. Two comets of this type coming together in this specific what they are made of. Their specific components meeting within a nebula of this type to create this spectacular light show is unique in the explored Union space. So this is something to savor. And then, just barely audibly, in fact, you feel it before you hear it, Blacksmith, Desperado. Blacksmith more so, because you are thrown in space. You are propelled forward, the cord going taut as you are sort of smacked back into the side of your mech, as yours and everyone else's is violently propelled outward as there is an explosion from the asteroid. There is a whole chunk that seems to have been blasted off this section that has been fitted with a thruster assembly to help it get into this particular position for this show. You guys don't hear it because you're in the void of space. But inside the yacht, because sound does travel through space, it just doesn't vibrate anything. When it hits the yacht itself, this explosive wave, this percussive wave, ripples through, I mean, not physically, but ripples through the station, and there's a muffled but still loud boom, and everyone turns, and because it's almost 2/3 of this vague rectangular dome, you can look over and you see the tail end of the wispy cloud-like fire that has exploded from the bottom chunk of the asteroid of the scrapyard. And there is rock debris and this large plate of metal, rock, and thruster assembly heading straight for the yacht. And that's what we're going to call it for tonight.
How dare you?
Okay. So I think this is the first one that I've gotten to do for you. Hey Jack.
Yes, Q.
Hey Jack.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yup. Oh, I've been waiting on this cliffhanger. I've been waiting on this cliffhanger for
Of course you have.
for one intermission and the outro and this intermission, but we finally got there.
How dare you?
So I almost stuck to nothing bad happening this episode, but I had to squeeze it in at the very end.
I knew it. I knew something was coming because you're just like, yeah,
yeah.
what could go wrong?
It was too peaceful and too exciting, and there was no way.
Correct. Absolutely. Oh, we thought we were just gonna have emotion.
Nah,
Okay, sure, I guess.
can't stop there.
But I had a great time tonight. We were able to take things a lot more slowly. I love the role play. I love that I wasn't too terribly worried about pacing and whatnot, and we had some great character moments. And this will set us up for something real fun to jump back into next week, and then we can follow that up with the sort of lowering action of actual downtime, because there's still a lot of stuff that you guys want to do before we ship off on our next mission. We didn't get to any of that today, but I loved the roleplay. We learned a lot about different characters. I worked through, or at least started to address, some of the things that have come up in the last couple episodes. So I am excited for the things to come. Thank you for watching another episode of the Starcrier Conflict. We will be back next Sunday, of course, at our usual time for the continuation of this. Don't go anywhere, however, because we have to find out where all of these awesome people are, and I have a few closing announcements and our fun little closing credits reel. So, as I come down from the excitement of blowing up one of my own stations, let's throw it over to this wonderful cast who has been really quite heartfelt tonight. Sean, when you are not having an existential crisis out in space, what are you doing?
Hi, I'm Sean, aka Rise, Rize. You can find me on Blue Sky at Rise. You can also find me on Threads and Instagram at Raven Black Photography. It's cosplay, nature photography, that kind of thing there. Let's see, as far as TTRPG stuff goes, next thing coming up, actually, obviously next Sunday will be here, but on the 21st, that's next Tuesday, we're playing Lancer again over on Lost Caravan RPG with Jack, and that's going to be super fun. Can't wait for that. That same week, on the 23rd, it'll be over on Nerds with Dice playing Iron Sworn. Next episode of that. I think we've got 3 episodes left of that to figure out how we managed to rid the valley of the horrible demons that are ruling it. So that's going to be lots of fun. Other than that, the 24th through the 27th here in beautiful Missoula, Montana. If you are anywhere close, feel free to come out. We have MizCon. It's our local convention here in town. We got lots of anime stuff, sci-fi, fantasy. We play games. We have cosplay costume contests. We have special guests to honor various authors, and we had one of the actors from SG1 here last year. He was a great guy. We have all kinds of super fun stuff going on there. I don't know if the Vaudeville Troupe is doing another show this year, but they're called the Geeky Cheeky Vaudeville Troupe, and they're fantastic. Total nerd stuff with vaudeville, that kind of flavor thrown in. So yeah, feel free to come out, take a look at that. If you're in the area, we'd love to have you.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Who from, I have to ask, who from SG1?
You know what? I'm having trouble remembering his name. Let me take a look here.
Do you know
I'll get
who
back to you. I
played?
gotta remember his name.
All right. I'll probably
me.
recognize most of the cast. That's on my rotation of shows I watch like every year in repeat over
Right.
and over.
I honestly, I figured you would.
Anyway, you can get back to me on that
Christopher
later.
Judge.
Teal'c. Oh, I love
Oh,
Christopher Judge.
Teal'c.
Yeah.
He is
Yes.
voice of Kratos as well in the
Yeah.
God of War
Yeah.
games. Oh,
Yes.
great,
Mm-hmm.
great
Hell
actor,
yeah.
great voice actor, great stuff. Um,
And
uh,
okay, is it my turn?
yes, Q. When you are not looking
Okay.
fly as hell, what are you doing?
So when I'm not looking fly as hell here, I am looking fly as hell over on Tales not yes, Tales from the Table soon. We have stuff that I'm actually gonna be in for Tales from the Table. I am a part of the production staff. So I am there, sort of working behind the scenes. If you see cool stuff like overlays, I probably had a hand in it. You're fucking welcome. Anyway, Tuesdays. I have alternating games on Tuesdays. One, Entropy Emporium. That is They Call Us Villains, which is the horror, the masks game. I'm playing the biggest, saddest, angriest boy. The opposite Tuesday is Nephilim Tenebris. I'm playing a different space cowboy, also fashionably dressed. It's fine. Thursdays, Redacted, which is a psychological thriller, which is another powered by the. It's fine. Ass, a season of Secrets and Shadows. Playing a different cowboy, not a space cowboy. I just keep making cowboys. Um, Saturday, like every other Saturday, I Class Reunion, which is a D&D isekai game. Except I was not isekai'd, I live there. And then of course I'm still here on Sundays. Beyond that, I have a bunch of home game shit, so you don't need to know. And I've got a lot of other projects in the works that I'm also not supposed to talk about yet. That's it. That's all. Oh, you can find me on the internet at midnight_INQ. Q is my name. I'm sure you get it. So anyway, back to you, Jack.
All right, lots of great stuff there. Lots of great channels. If you followed all of that, or if you didn't, rewind on the VOD and go check out those channels because there's a lot of great stuff there. I wish I had the time to watch all of it.
Yeah, this. Listen, I'm in most of them, and I don't have enough time.
All right. Yeah. Haley's not here, but I'll do a quick plug for Haley. Hey, howdy, bye, everybody. Go check out Haley. Great fellow cast member here on the channel, and I am looking forward to them getting out of prison or wherever they are right now.
Oh my god!
And by that I mean Buddy,
Spoilers.
not Haley.
Spoilers.
Not
That's
Haley.
fine.
She's
Oh,
they're wonderful.
gotcha.
let's make it very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as we know, Haley is not actually in prison right now.
No,
Just
no.
to
I
make
would
that
really
clear.
hope not.
But anyway, yeah, Andrew, when you're when you're not trying to help a drunken, traumatized friend out of whatever
Or
funk
getting
they're in.
rocked against my mech while I'm trying to just hang out in space.
Yep.
You just keep getting
What
the
are
shit
you
kicked
up
out
to?
of you, man.
Apparently. Hi, I am Andrew. I'm that gamer Ajax on all the socials. I always feel bad at this because I do like nothing compared to everybody else right now. I run a YouTube
don't feel
channel.
bad.
It's called
Don't
sanity.
feel bad. I'm doing too much. I'm doing too much. You're
Would you
doing
need to get
great.
like my level and your level to like balance it
In
out?
the middle? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I run a YouTube channel. It is also That Gamer Ajax, where I try to teach people about all kinds of tabletop games. I've been a little slow on content lately. Life has just been a little hectic. But that's okay. I'm getting ahead on scripts. We're going to be working on getting some content out. Next video that I'm still working on because my last one, all the audio was bad. It was funny. I gotta love that. It's just talking about RPGs that I really want to play before the end of the year, and it is a fun list. I had a lot of fun putting it together.
Very nice.
So, that's all I
Hopefully
got.
you'll be able to make it through at least half of that. We'll see.
We'll see.
The rest of the year isn't as far away as you think it is because it's already May.
No, shush. We don't put that in the universe.
Yeah.
The universe knows.
I choose to live in paracausality. Yeah. Lion, when you're not vandalizing high society property, what are you doing?
Hey, all, it's Drake Lionheart. Most people call me Lion. I use they, he pronouns. I'm also the creative director for Tales from the Table Studios, something that started as a wonderful actual play studio and has turned into an even more amazing online community. You can come join us. We have a Discord. You can find us online at TFTT Studios, pretty much all over the socials. You can find me at the Lion Knight 42. When I'm not here being awesome, I am hard at work behind the scenes on a whole bunch of cool stuff that I am desperate to be able to talk about, but can't just yet. Give me maybe 2 more weeks and we'll have some really, really exciting information finally. On top of that, I am also a writer and game designer. Celebrating that One Night at Ollie's, my Five Nights at Freddy's inspired Kids on Bikes module hit 300 downloads this week, which feels pretty freaking cool. If you're interested in checking it out, we have an itch page. You can go see that. Download it from there. It's completely free, absolutely wonderful. My camera's decided I'm supposed to be blurry, and that's fine. But it's absolutely fantastic. Go check it out, totally free of charge. I also just recently released a. Oh yes.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I have played through that scenario. It's fantastic. Like, seriously, if you like Five Nights at Freddy's at all and you want to do stuff with kids on bikes, also a great system, by the way. Go play it. It is an absolute blast. 5 out of 5. Like, would highly recommend it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I also recently released a 2-player, 1-page TTRPG, Poison Rationality, Closing the Goddamn Door.
Got
It's
it.
a fantastic game that you should absolutely check out. Also completely free of charge. Take an opportunity to sit down and have a really impassioned moment of disagreement, and then you can look back on it fondly. It's wonderful, I promise, and really cathartic when you just get to sit down and do it and not have to worry about anything else.
It's
So
still
check that out.
potentially my favorite name of anything. So
Yeah, what started as an absolute ridiculous nonsense post spawned a game in under 24 hours. It was wonderful.
It was a fever dream.
It was
I
a
watched
fever
it happen
dream.
in real time.
It's true.
Sure.
I am also a pro GM. You can hire me to run games for you. I love running games. I will run pretty much any system. I am happy to learn what I don't know. So you hit me up and I will make it happen. You can hire me to write your games. I love writing games. I love world building. I'm all down for all of that. You can find me. I already talked about my socials. You can also hit me up with an email at itsdrakelionheart@gmail. It's fantastic. Yeah, that's it for me for now. But oh boy, we're so close. I am
Yeah.
dying to tell you all about what's coming, and it's gonna be so good. That's it for me for now.
All right. Well, if you're not interested in the Starcrier conflict, just keep checking back. Figure out what's going on over there. More announcements to come. No, all kinds of fantastic stuff from these people, from these wonderful cast members who take time out of their already busy schedules and lives to give me all of this creative gold that I get to play with here, and I'm loving every minute of it. If you would like to support the channel here at RPGs Uncovered, you can head over to our Ko-Fi. Let me drop that in there too. You can head into our Ko-Fi, of course, at RPGs Uncovered, where you can find fun behind-the-scenes stuff here. Well, for the Starcrier conflict, a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of posts from the past about my different RPGs Uncovered demo play miniseries, which were a lot of fun. I'll probably get back to that at some point. But a lot of great player side and GM side behind the scenes sort of stuff, and I plan on getting even more coming through as this series develops. And anything we get through there goes right back into the channel, right back to the indie TTRPG and adjacent community for things like artists and musicians and writers, and maybe one day an editor so I can actually keep up on podcasts and stuff like that, just to increase the production value of the show. And of course, there's the Mayhem Meter to help give back to these wonderful people. Other than that, what do I have going on? Every other Tuesday, you can find me over at the Veil of the Void Twitch. That is Veil of the Void with underscores between all the words, for Tales of the Void, their own series about their own game, Veil of the Void. Which I think is a perfect segue into our sponsor for this show, our main sponsor for this show, Veil the Void. They've been a friend of the channel for a long time. I've enjoyed hanging out and playing with and talking shop with the creator and co-creators over at the Veil of the Void long before they started sponsoring the show. And I will say, if you have a TTRPG, an indie TTRPG, or are some way involved in our area, whether it be artwork or little knickknacks and crafts and whatever you may have, if you're looking for some advertisement space, hit me up, because I'd love to include more of these. And eventually I think it'd be really fun to, some people do like intermission like art reels. I think it'd be cool to put on like a whole bunch of sponsored indie TTRPG products from friends of the channel. So if that sounds like you, let me know, because I'd love to work with and help spread the word of other creatives out there in our space. Anyway, I do want to give a shout out to Veil of the Void Reforged. Something we've had on this channel a number of times before, so you can even go back and check out the Veil of the Void demo play miniseries, season 1 of RPGs Uncovered. Actually, that was a lot of fun. But quick breakdown of what that actually is. The Starcrier Conflict is brought to you in part by Veil of the Void Reforged. Veil of the Void Reforged is a science fantasy indie TTRPG featuring robust character creation, cinematic gameplay, and a multitude of GM storytelling tools, with a lot more that just came out with some free supplements, which are absolutely amazing. Add a lot of great GM facing kind of stuff. Some of it including how to build mechs and play around with mechs. So if you're liking Starcrier, but don't necessarily want to get into Lancer or want to do even more cool stuff, sort of adjacent to more science fantasy, they do have some of that in Veil of the Void, so go check that out. Learn more and pick up your own copy of Veil of the Void Reforged today, visiting sdgcreatives.com, and you can use coupon code RPG for 10% off. And actually, Andrew, you have a supplement for that as well, don't you?
Yes, I do. It is the Ajax's Amazing Armory. Fun fact, I ran a 3-year campaign for that game, built a lot of stuff, and decided to give it out for free. So go download it. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to put little references to the players that I had for that. It was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that game, that system is so good at just spontaneously inspiring some crazy nonsense. So go check that out. Whether GM side or player side, a lot of great stuff there to help you build very interesting, very nuanced characters that have very cinematic, very high action cinematic stuff, both in and out of combat. I mean, I could talk about it a lot. There's a reason they sponsored us. I love the product. It's a great thing.
Also, I will say making like equipment is really fun. For example, how would you like to shoot a railgun that can literally pierce through an entire building?
Yep.
Yeah. Every day.
Yeah.
It's in the supplement. Go get it.
You got to watch out for power creep in Veil of the Void. But if you have access to it, so do the enemies. And the enemies can learn. Like, that's part of enemy rules. They learn, which is great. We could go on talking about it, but we gotta wrap this up. So thank you, Veil of the Void, for sponsoring. Go check that out. You can see the coupon code and more about that in our closing credits, which I'm about to roll in a second. I think that is all I have. Yeah, just another quick reminder, if you are watching this on the VOD, or if you stuck with us this far and this is one of the first episodes you've seen, and you'd like to go back and watch more, it's all available on YouTube, and it is slowly becoming available in podcast form. I'm releasing an episode every other Wednesday, so episode 3 is just about to drop this upcoming Wednesday. So you can catch up on our previous adventures. They've all been chopped down. Nothing important has been taken out. Just pauses and hums and hauls and dice rolling and stuff like that. Condensed down into something that is very enjoyable to listen while you're doing other things. And I plugged in a whole bunch of fun sound design for things like footsteps and heartbeats and music and some real fun sound cues. So if that sounds interesting to you, go check that out. It is currently only available on Spotify and on Acast, where I host from. But once I get episode 4 down, I think a lot of the other places like iTunes and Amazon and iHeartRadio and all that stuff will be more. They'll finally unlock for what we have going on. So look forward to that opening up if you don't use Spotify. And leave a review if you're listening to this in the distant future, or just watching and think you might go back. Go back, leave a review, leave a comment on YouTube, press all of those little buttons that tell our AI overlords that you like this content, because that helps the channel out even far more than monetary support and whatnot. Just getting the word out, telling the AI that we're good people, and helping bring the show to more eyes. That's all I got. I've been talking too long. Drop some heart tomatoes in the comments on our way out. I don't see anybody that I can raid. It looks like ADH Adventures just ended. I don't have anyone else for me, so I think we're just going to call it for the night. Thank you for watching. As always, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, keep having fun, keep checking back here for more of the Starcrier Conflict. And one of the best things you can find at any good high society buffet table at an incredibly important gala that only happens once every 257 years is their amazing assortment of varying hors d'oeuvres made out of heart tomatoes. Good night and happy time zone, folks.
Good night.
Happy time zone.